this chance to do that and to anger people in doing that.
Yes.
To remind me again in our little, which is fun. That was fun.
That was
doing
fun.
a little mock draft. Remind me again what he gave up to get up to 3 to get Anthony Richardson.
All right, he gave up 11, 41, a conditional third-rounder next year that becomes a second-rounder if whoever they took at 3 plays in 4 more games. How we came up with that, I have no idea. A first-rounder in 2025 and a fifth-rounder in 2025 was the price.
Yeah, that's hefty.
That's hefty.
Yeah, at least you stretched it out to 25, I guess. So
the thinking on that was with Arizona, maybe that's the year that if the Murray contract doesn't work out, you're moving off, and that you have another first-round pick at 25.
Yeah.
That was the thinking on that.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Anthony Richardson, and I've bounced around a little bit, like Daniel Jeremiah. I mean, I think does he have him going like 20, I think?
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, and it really is, though. Like, if you tell me right now, and I know prisoner of the moment, this draft is amazing. Every draft has some kind of intrigue. Every draft's exciting. It's become – the NFL has managed to make it like we're about to watch the Super Bowl or something, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that this particular draft is more fascinating than a lot of them because of the quarterback thing and just especially I think Levis and Richardson. And Stroud.
Yeah. Well, the team that I'm watching tonight that I think could dictate how a lot of this goes is Houston, right? And Caroline in the mock draft yesterday went Tyree Wilson at number 2 with Houston.
Get excited, H-Town.
Yeah, get fired up. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, but on the FanDuel Sportsbook, he's the favorite right now to be drafted at number 2. So, like, if that's the route they go, whether it's him or Will Anderson, and they take the best defensive player in their mind in the draft, what does that mean for quarterback after that? If they don't, and they do take a quarterback at number 2, who gets nervous and has to move up to number 3 with Arizona? That's whatever Houston decides to do, I think is really going to dictate how the rest of the top 10 goes in terms of like the movement that we see.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're Arizona, I mean, look, maybe you're Arizona and you're like, yeah, man, we want Will Anderson and he's worth number 3, and so we're good sticking there. But
sure, I
would think that you'd kind of like the opportunity to move down and add some assets. And so you're hoping – I'm trying to think, what's the best case for Arizona in terms of that? Like, which quarterback?
That's a good question because I can look at it one of two ways. Either it goes Young and Stroud and somebody loves either Levis or Richardson and they're scared to death Indy's going to take them and they move up that way. Or it goes Young, the Texans take a defensive player, and somebody loves Stroud, and they're scared to death that Indy's going to take him at that point.
I think that's probably the best case for Arizona, right?
I would think
the
so.
The non-QB and Stroud being there. But I'll say that, and then Stroud will just be there for the Titans at 11. I mean, I don't know. Saw some good Jimmy Wyatt videos from Kansas City yesterday of Stroud and Levis and Richardson all talking. They all seem like nice kids.
They do.
One of them will be a Titan.
Are we calling our shot right now?
Well, haven't we already called? I don't even remember the shots. What are all the shots we've called? Actually, I think I'm going to look up our called shots.
I think the only official called shot that I've had at the quarterback spot for the Titans is Hendon Hooker.
Okay.
I don't know that I believe that anymore, but that's the only official called shot I've had.
And then
you and I have Levis.
We both
here.
called Levis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go. So,
shout out to Anthony
Richardson. Jared Stillman's dream. Oh, my gosh. He'll be so excited. And then, dude, just wait. I really need Richardson because he'll throw like 3 terrible passes in the preseason and Jared will say he sucks.
Oh, yeah.
For the rest of his existence. I'm here for all of that.
Guys, I've seen enough. Made a huge mistake. Huge mistake.
I mean, it's kind of what happened with Malik Willis and him.
He kind of is. But Jared seems very excited about Anthony Richardson. It was interesting that I was looking on the text line before the show started, and there weren't that many texts in opposition to it, but the ones that were in opposition to moving up and trading that much to get Richardson were very upset about that pick on the text line.
Yeah. Well, I believe that Richardson would be more approved Like if you actually had a referendum of Titans fans, I think more would be fine with it because I think anybody can watch. If you really watch Anthony Richardson, you'd see the high ceiling, right?
Yes.
Also, look, I think a lot of Titans fans are Vols fans. And so Vols fans saw very different versions of those two guys against their team last year. But a lot of people will still be upset, and I get it. And Levis would be just outstanding.
Yes, it would. I wonder what if you're on the fence about Anthony Richardson, how much better would you feel about it if he just fell to 11 somehow? Which I don't see that happening. I guess it could, but I don't see that happening. But how much different, or if it's Levis, like if you are on the fence about Levis, but you don't have to move up to go get him, and he's there at 11, how much easier is that to swallow?
It's a great question, and certainly if you don't have to give up assets and you can get one of those guys, yeah, you feel a lot better. But you know what? If that does happen, then it's like, wait a minute. Why did they fall?
Right.
So they're not that good. And if you liked them that much, why did you just wait for them? Do you really like them? You just sat there. If you love them, go get them. I mean, we'll find a reason to complain.
Oh, yeah. How about this from Zach from Nashville on the text line? Says, interesting that Jim Wyatt didn't interview Levis yesterday. Probably was told not to waste his time because he isn't a Titan. Conspiracy theory. This is from Zach from Nashville.
Nah, man, you missed it. He had a really good interview with Levis.
Yeah, he did.
Today.
Yeah, he got there.
Levis was great. I enjoyed that interview. He was pretty funny.
Jimmy's not missing out on anybody. He's got that visor in tow.
Come on, Zach.
They'll get it in there.
It's right up there on his Twitter feed, man.
Also, if that were true and he didn't interview Levis, then I would take that as
exactly.
Rand Carth, Jim, just don't talk to him.
Yeah, Rand, just tell people that you missed him, okay?
Yeah,
we don't want any smoke around our guy. Seriously, like if we could send Agent 31 in, wouldn't it be great to just see what they really think about these quarterbacks right now?
This is an assignment that could be right up his alley.
There's still a few hours.
About 13.
Yeah.
12 hours and 46 minutes at this point. 49. Excuse me. Yes. MTSU math.
Hey, man. 6:11 a.m. math. It's okay.
Yes. We're off and running today here on Robby and Rexrode. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. It is NFL Draft Day. We'll continue the discussion on the draft coming up next, including a scenario that Joe Rexrode has thrown out there that I find to be very interesting. We'll get into that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with your family with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
Family Leisure has 40 spas on display from 3 of the biggest brand names: Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select. Prices starting as low as $29.99.
What about above ground pools?
Family Leisure has hundreds of pools in stock and on sale. Guaranteed installation before Memorial Day, starting as low as $29.99. Install.
Wow, that's great.
If you're looking at a spa, I want some new patio furniture. Family Leisure has patio furniture from all the big brand names like Hanneman, Woodard, Jensen, and Apricity. There's more than 100 sets on display to choose from with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too. And maybe a new Sabre infrared grill to go with it?
We really should look at the wood play gym for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. It's Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale going on now at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
In football, we all take our hits, but protection keeps you in the game. That's why I always wore a helmet and pads on the field. Life too comes with risk, so I got vaccinated and boosted for COVID-19. Hi, this is former Tennessee Titan running back and 3-time Pro Bowler Chris Johnson. Talk to your doctor and get the information you need to make an informed choice. Gear up, Tennessee. Protect yourself and your family against COVID-19.
For more information, go to nflagearup.org/Tennessee.
This is R.A. Dickey, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at Smoky Mountain Tops. When my wife Ann and I needed new countertops for our kitchen, we called Smoky Mountain Tops. We wanted to make sure that we worked with a company dedicated to quality craftsmanship, and customer service. And that's what we got with Smoky Mountain Tops. Go with the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops for any of your surfacing countertop needs. Located in Knoxville and Asheville. Visit SmokyMountainTops.com.
Anyone want to tell me what happened?
Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to thegamenashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, sponsored by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Taking your thoughts on the NFL Draft, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. So, Joe, you have come up with a scenario that I think is really interesting and also very well could happen tonight, and that is the scenario of the Titans not drafting a quarterback and what that means for the fan base and the interest level in this team as they move forward here. Because, look, right now, with this roster as is, we know the holes that they have and the needs that this team needs to fill, and we know that it's going to be very difficult to fill all those holes in the draft and borderline impossible to fill all those holes in the draft. So what does that mean for the competitiveness of this team and the expectations for this group as they move forward here? You ask different Titans fans, you get different answers on that questions. But we've talked so much about quarterback. There's been so much noise and buzz and smoke nationally around the Titans at the quarterback position that if it doesn't happen tonight and they don't go with quarterback, number one, how do you think the fans react to that? And number two, what do you think that means for the excitement level with this team as they move forward into the offseason and with training camp coming up here in a few months?
Well, yeah, if the Titans draft anyone. Now, I suppose you'd have different grades of this. The offensive lineman draft scenario is that's the absolute bottom of the barrel of excitement. It may be the absolute best pick.
Could be.
But, let's face it. It's not just that it's an offensive lineman, but it's that this team has been drafting offensive linemen. So, you're sick of that, even though if you need it, you need it. So, like, if there's a receiver, then I think, there's some – that would be 2 straight years, of course, by the way, with a receiver coming in the first round. But, I mean, there'd be, I think, a little bit more anticipation, excitement. If it's one of the, top of the board, corner or edge or whatever, that's probably still better than offensive lineman. Again, I'm just talking fan excitement. But I've thought about, like, the offseason, and I hesitate to ask this question because you guys, like, botched my very good question a couple years ago where it's like, what's the most hyped team since, which was 2021, last year? Was it as hyped as this year? No. So it's not last year. Anyway, seriously, like, when is – like, this team would be probably the least exciting, or this offseason build up to a season. I mean, I could go back. I could make the case.
Since last year?
Yeah, there you go. See, last year there was a lot of anger about A.J. Brown.
There was.
But you're still talking about the number 1 seed the year before, right?
Yeah.
So there was still like an absolute expectation to win the division.
Yeah.
And anger about the Colts being picked to win the division. And, there's still Derrick Henry coming off coming off a broken foot, but like had been playing at a high level. I think it'll definitely be a lower. I mean, you're talking about 7 straight losses.
Yeah.
I mean, go back, I don't know, 17, they won a playoff game, and then they fired their coach. I mean, there was some excitement about Vrabel. You could make the case maybe 19, because 19, Vrabel's first year, they didn't make the playoffs. Everybody's wondering if Mariota is kind of like the last chance for Mariota kind of season. But Derrick Henry had just had this crazy month, and people were like, gosh, is that what Derrick Henry is? So you could make that case, but I think you could actually go back to like when they were terrible.
Probably 14 is probably – I mean, 14 is when they drafted the one, right? So it was before – like even – because 15, they were awful, but they drafted Marcus.
Right, so everybody's excited about the new quarterback.
Well, and then in 16, it was the second year of Marcus, and, there was all that. They'd made the DeMarco Murray trade. So, I mean, I'd go back to Probably 14 would probably be my answer. That's
9
a long
years.
time ago.
9
Yeah.
years. Yeah. So, and the thing is, if this is the scenario, they obviously have probably, just on paper, they have a better chance to be good this year.
Right.
It's just, it's just the question of how good.
Exactly.
And how good do they think they can be?
How good do they think they can be? And, here's the other question. If they go, let's say offensive lineman, because we already got a text hoping they go offensive lineman tonight. Let's say they do that. And let's say that player hits, whether that's Skoronski or that's Paris Johnson Jr. or Broderick Jones or whoever it is. Let's say that player hits and they can play immediately and they're a good starter immediately. Okay, that's great. So what does that mean for, I guess, how do you quantify that as to what that means for this team next year? Still not knowing exactly what Traylon Burks is and the rest of the wide receiving room there and the offense, what exactly it's going to look like. Obviously it helps. There's going to be excitement if the first 4 weeks roll around and that player is really good at offensive line. But, what does – let's say they hit on whoever they take at offensive line this year. What do you think that does for this team immediately? Not 2-3 years from now, but immediately this year.
Well, that's a good question. That's why, if it were to be Skoronski, again, that just seems like the most boring outcome possible. Peter Skoronski! But
left guard.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Actually, if you want to talk about instant impact, if it worked out that Dillard is ready to be your left tackle and Brunskill is ready to be your right guard and Brewer's best position is center and Petit Frere takes a jump, that's a plug-and-play starting left guard, and you actually might have a much better offensive line this year than last year. There's a ton of ifs, but that might actually be the offensive line best outcome, because if you draft Broderick Jones or Paris Johnson, one of them may end up being your starting left tackle, and Dillard could bump inside too. So, there's different possibilities, but I feel like Skoronski's plug and play if Dillard is actually starting left tackle quality.
I love this day because there's all sorts of stuff that just comes out today, and how much of it's smoke, how much of it is actually meaningful. I saw this one last night, and we brought up this account before. It's at ML Football on Twitter, and they're an independent news reporter approved by the NFL and the NFLPA, and they put it out there last night. It says Boston College superstar wide receiver Zay Flowers. Final official visit was with the Titans, who pick at 11 tomorrow night. And while he was leaving, they told Zay, quote, "Get used to Nashville," source says. This is from ML Football on Twitter.
Get used to Nashville because the Jags are going to take you in the second round. You're going to be here every year, buddy. So
be around all the time.
Well, put a little flag next to that one. We'll see. I see a lot of reaction to that.
I think Zay Flowers would qualify as a shock at pick number 11 to me.
That would be. Now maybe the Titans feel like they've got something in place if the board falls the way they think that they're going to trade back.
Maybe
they're going to take Zay. If that's the case, okay. I think I'm with Kaharski, whose beautiful face was in the studio yesterday, just juicing up our internet numbers. I'm with him. If they can trade back, that might be the best thing, because they do. They need quantity without question.
I got a texter on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, I don't know if I'm speaking for the general fan base that I would be ecstatic to draft an elite offensive tackle or wide receiver instead of drafting these jokester quarterbacks just on potential. This is from a texter on the text line. Well, the thing with that is, aren't to a certain degree you're drafting everybody on potential? It's the draft. You don't know for sure. Say they take say they take Peter Skoronski tonight. Well, people think he can play left tackle. People also think that maybe he's a guard in the NFL level. Not only do they think he's a guard, maybe they think he could be a really good guard in the NFL. But it's still potential, right? You got to go out there and prove that you can do it.
Just reserve him a spot on that Pro Bowl cornhole team.
Right. I mean,
he's a lock. Yeah, no. I think the point there, I would assume, is that Richardson and Levis in particular, right? Those are the two guys that some people are like, they could go number 3. It's don't you have to be great in college to be considered in the NFL?
I get it. But I mean, that just the potential thing, and we brought this up a little bit yesterday with, I think LD had it on the text line. Like, for some reason, like, we've gotten to the point now where it's like, well, if they take a quarterback, that's a huge risk. But if they take a wide receiver at number 11, that'll work out, because we've seen that happen a lot. Or an offensive lineman with their first round pick, that's for sure going to work.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can botch it in every single spot. Maybe they need to take a kicker, but like if they
do need one of those,
they do. I wouldn't be surprised later in the draft if they take like Zay Flowers at 11. To me, it's a different position, but that's also a reach relative to conventional wisdom on these prospects. Now, I understand there's plenty of teams. I mean, the Raiders, when Mike Mayock was Raiders GM, they just kept taking a bunch of fourth rounders in the first round. It didn't work out for them, but I'm just saying, every team has their own big board. They can be very different than the media groupthink big board, but that would be a reach. You see Ron's text, good morning, with this being Rand's first ever draft as a GM, do you think what he does will show the organization what kind of GM we have for the future? Well, Rand's not on an island here tonight doing this stuff at all.
No, this is as much Vrabel as it is Rand. Now, I also, like, whatever he does tonight, we're not going to know for a while, right? Now, I get the point. Like, if, let's say he's super aggressive and they go up and they make the trade up to get a quarterback, like, does that signal to you that, oh, man, okay, this guy is all in? But, again, they're not moving up to go get a quarterback unless Vrabel is like, yep, that's my guy. Let's go do it.
Right. And even if they do move up to get a quarterback, it doesn't. That I would not predict them to do that next year or the year after, or the year after the year. I mean, John Robinson came in and was able to have number 1 overall, and he did a great job of spinning that into a bunch of picks. And for the most part, that was his second best draft. But I'm trying to think after that, did Robinson ever trade down the rest of his tenure as GM? I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
In the first round, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Well, wait a minute. I'm trying to think. What was the Burks situation last year? No, because they moved up.
Yeah,
with the AJ trade. So yeah. I mean, but yeah, if you're saying like aggressive, I mean, look, what the type of GM you want is the type of GM who makes good choices. Whether they go up, down. I mean, there's probably year after year it's going to be different scenarios. You got to be able to do all that stuff, but mainly just be good at looking at football players and saying that potential will actually turn into production.
Chuck on the text line says, I consider this a rebuild year, so not big expectations to begin with, from Chuck on the text line. Going back to our what happens if they take an offensive lineman or somebody else tonight that's not a quarterback.
Okay. I feel like there's a lot of sentiment for the non-QB.
I feel like there's a decent amount, yeah. Now, but I also feel this. I feel like there's a lot of sentiment for the non-QB so that you get the QB next year. And we've talked about that. It's like, well, that's a heck of a game to play. Like, to me, if you feel like you got one this year, go get him. Like, this idea that you can just go 8-9 or whatever it'll be next year and then draft your franchise quarterback, I think it's going to be really hard to pull off.
Maybe Joe Milton, if he gets benched in like week 3, you can get him like the 4th round.
Could.
That might be the answer.
Joe's tanking for the Titans.
He gets benched in week 3. He shows up to his pro day at Tennessee and throws 136 yards. And the Titans are like, you know what? 3rd round flyer. Why not?
Melting for Milton.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll take more of your thoughts on the NFL draft. What would you like to see the Titans do tonight? Your thoughts on Rand Carthon, Mike Vrabel, everything on the table. 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The NFL offseason is in full swing, but you'll never miss any of the big news. Thanks to Yahoo's Charles Robinson.
They know that there's a chance that they're going to have to deal this guy.
He's one of the best insiders there is.
All of a sudden, he becomes a functional player who we thought was just trash.
Join Charles Robinson every Thursday morning at 8 on Robby and Rexrode, presented by the NFL Alumni Association on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's up, everybody? Michelle Knezovic here for Superbook Sports. Baseball's back, and the push for the postseason is on for hockey and hoops. I hope you took that Memphis minus the 4 yesterday. They covered that spread, and I'm going to give you a couple more picks. We've got the Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks tonight at 7:30. Boston has an opportunity to close out the series but the game is back in Atlanta tonight, so I'm going to take the Hawks plus the 6.5. Also got the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. I'm going to take the Kings plus the 7, but I do think the Warriors end up closing out this game tomorrow night. Superbook Sports is the best wagering app around with a direct line to experienced bookmakers behind the counter in Las Vegas. Plus, you can get a $250 bonus when you sign up, deposit, and wager all in the same day. So place those bets, sign up, wager, and then you will get a $250 bonus. Don't let spring pass you by without winning some money with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Hey, it's Jared for Hiller. Sometimes replacing equipment in your home can be overlooked until something breaks, but there's actually big problems that can come from outdated old vintage HVAC systems. Older systems require more maintenance and results in higher utility bills. This month during Hiller's Vintage Showdown, they're giving away a free HVAC system to the owner of the oldest unit. It's easy to enter. Just go online to happyhiller.com and submit a picture of your old unit. Everybody wins with a trade-in credit and 0% interest financing for up to 48 months on replacement. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Along with being Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, Parman Tractor is your one-stop shop for professionals in the tree care and tree removal business. More bark brush chippers and Rayco stump grinders are industry-leading machines made for more to keep pace with you. And Parman's parts and service team will keep your machines running. Durability, efficiency, and trust. That's what you'll get with more bark and Rayco. And with Parman. Swing by Parman or visit ParmanTractor.com to learn more about more bark and Rayco. Parman Tractor's employee-owned team promises totally outrageous customer service.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist. Check out the new Pro V1 golf balls, designed for longer distance, more consistency, and unrivaled control. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and elevate your game with the new TSR Woods, engineered faster, longer, and straighter. Come in and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive. Of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their homestand at First Horizon Park against Omaha.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 6:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, I'm Gary Smith, head coach of Nashville SC. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Don't miss Nashville's best NFL draft coverage on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Join Jared Stillman, Derek Mason, and Chris Sanders tonight as they broadcast from Twin Peaks and Cool Springs, home of the 29-degree beer. Looking forward to that broadcast tonight, particularly if the Titans take Anthony Richardson. I think we'll see you. Hey, very excited, Jared Stillman, if that happens.
What's the reverse of that? What's the meltdown pick?
Levis,
I guess, or is there?
See, I think he would even be okay with Levis, depending on where they took him.
He represents the segment of the fan base that is just all in. Just please draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Something new, something different, a new direction.
Yeah. By the way, Robby and Rexrode presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Call TJ's team to see why they are referred to so often. We're taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025 on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. So we're taking a look at the options for the Titans in the draft. It's interesting to monitor the fan base right now. Some are all in on quarterback, a lot more than I anticipated the last few days, hoping for something beyond quarterback, whether that's offensive line or wide receiver. I am interested, like if the wide receiver part of it, they're going to have to figure it out. I think we all would agree that they probably need to come away with 2 wide receivers in this draft in some form or fashion. So how exactly do you go about doing that? Like if Jackson Smith and Jigba is the pick tonight at number 11, what do you think the reaction is to that pick from the Titans fan base?
I think more positive than negative. You know, I mean, if he's, fire up that Rose Bowl from a couple years ago. If that's who you're getting, and then Burks is coming along, all of a sudden it's like, okay, Burks, Smith and Jigba, Chig. Okay, you
if
can
they fire
see
up that Rose Bowl, he'll be real excited.
Well, yeah, that might be his rookie year full production, but I think it'll be relative. The interesting thing about the Titans fans who don't want a quarterback, I don't get the sense it's because, like, it's kind of like Chuck. I don't get the sense, like, how many people, let me try to do some math here, of that group of fans want them to not take a quarterback because they actually think this team can be really good in 23. And it's not impossible that it could, but I don't think it's a big number.
I don't think it's a big number either. And I agree with you. It's not impossible. I do think it's very unlikely that, and I guess it depends on what you mean by good. Like,
contending.
Can they contend in the AFC South? Yeah, I think they could probably do that.
Well, if you can win your division.
You're not a Super Bowl contender automatically by winning your division.
If you can dodge a wrench.
You can dodge a ball.
Tampa Bay Bucks last year a Super Bowl contender? Probably not.
I'm
just saying.
They had the GOAT.
They got beat by about 1,000 points by the Cowboys.
I don't think so. I don't think it's impossible. Again, you'd have to have an incredible run of hits and very few misses on not just the draft, all these free agent picks, and also the health of a bunch of people. And then also Tana Henry in absolutely vintage form.
Yeah. The one part of this that I'm also really curious about that I just have never bought into throughout this whole process is the idea that you've got to fix everything else around the quarterback before you take the quarterback. Like, I just don't buy that. And beyond the obvious of just if you fix everything around the quarterback, it's going to be really hard to get the quarterback in next year's draft. Like, beyond that part of it, it's like, just go back and look. Like, the Jags didn't have everything fixed around Trevor Lawrence before they got him. The Bengals didn't have anything fixed around Joe Burrow before they got him. And as Kuharski brought up yesterday, I realize it's different because you're not trading up to go get those guys.
Pick one, right.
But the point remains the same. Like, you don't have to have every single thing in order around your quarterback in order to take them. Would that be great? Would that be ideal? Sure. Like, if you had good receivers and a good offensive line for your quarterback to be drafted to and you could develop him that way, yeah, that would be awesome. But very rarely does it happen that way. Like, you get the quarterback and then you try to protect him as best you can and you hope that you can put together a piece around him. Like, even Joe Burrow, they got the quarterback and the offensive line was atrocious, and unfortunately he got hurt. And then the next year, the offensive line was still atrocious, but they had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and all these other guys. Like, eventually you surround him with pieces that you got to surround him with, but you worry about getting the quarterback first. Like, that part of it has always bothered me in this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand it's ideal. I mean, everybody, you buy a house, it'd be great if it was fully furnished and nothing needed to be fixed or painted, but how realistic is that?
Sean on the text line. Yeah, I did. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Sean on the text line says, Bryce Young or bust. I don't want anything other than Bryce Young tonight.
Well, Sean, I got some bad news for you, buddy. But then again, what if the Panthers take Levis right away? And it's just like, oh, chaos!
The Reddit guy was right. It's Levis.
It was Reddit. The Reddit
guy was right all along.
Reddit Randy was right all along. By the way, Dane Brugler has his final mock out today.
Yeah.
if he's right about how this thing's going to go, is it going to be fun tonight?
Oh, gosh.
I'll have to take a look at that.
He's got QBs falling. He's got the Titans sitting there, just multiple QBs at their disposal.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Sure.
I have no idea.
I can buy it.
Like, that's the thing. Like, there's such a wide variety of opinions. Yes, on Richardson and on Will Levis, but also, I mean, Stroud now. Like, with all this stuff swirling around him, like, I would still be shocked if he made it to 11, where, like, the Titans are sitting there at 11, like, oh, yeah, C.J. Stroud's still on the board. But we've seen crazy things happen in the draft before. I mean, Aaron Rodgers fell to 25. So
exactly. Brady Quinn fell to whatever. Actually, that was what it should have been. But, yeah. No, I mean, it's I'm with you. Like, the Stroud thing is – I don't know if you saw the interview. He's like, I'm not a test taker. He's talking to Jimmy White yesterday. The thing is, it's like what's too bad about this is people are asking him again. They're asking him these questions, thinking like his score is an 18. His score is not an 18.
Right.
One may have been. His actual score is much better than that. But he doesn't own it. He doesn't have it. Hopefully he gets drafted by a team that actually
shows it to him.
Yeah, like if the Colts draft him, they can be like, hey, CJ, here's your scores. You actually did pretty well the second time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's the thing. The Colts know this. The Colts are one of 15 teams that have that information. So I just don't think there's any way Stroud gets past them.
Cam on the text line says the best result tonight would be a trade down, picking up another day 2 pick and a pick to fill the gap between 72 and 147. Take a tackle in the first and then use 2 or 3 day 2 picks on wide receivers. The irate situation would be if Stroud did make it to 11 and the Titans pass on him. This from Cam on the text line.
I mean, if that happens, I will put mayo in my coffee tomorrow like Michelle and Junnie.
Do not.
I wouldn't do
that.
Do
not, Joe.
I wouldn't even say
well, I'll say it because it's not going to happen. Okay? Uh-oh, I just said
it. 6:40 a.m. April 27th.
This draft is going to be wild.
Yeah, something completely absurd is going to happen.
Well, there's always, 2 or 3 guys every year in the first round that either go way higher than you thought they were going to go or way lower than you thought they were going to go. But I feel like that number could grow this year. Like, I feel like there could be, like 5 or 6 guys where that happens to this year in the draft. Like, it's the variance of what we could see tonight, which is why we love it. That's why it's going to be exciting. Like, we got a text earlier that said this is basically like Christmas morning for people this morning. I mean, it's the NFL draft. To your point earlier, NFL does a heck of a job of selling really nothing actually happening other than people being selected to teams. It's pretty good.
Well, the draft's been a big deal for a long time, right? Like, I'm trying to think. It used to be. What did it basically used to be? Always on like that Saturday.
I think so. I think it was like Saturday, Sunday.
Maybe it was Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah,
and they also used to be more rounds. But I mean, even then, like it was definitely a big deal. But yes, they've turned it into an absolute. I mean, what I have a problem with is like, can we see the schedule for next year? No, we've got a 2-hour special. I mean, come on,
just put the schedule out.
But this I'm cool with. I mean, this is pretty good.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it's time for the best and worst things in sports. As always, we'll take your submissions on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Jared Stillman coming up at 7 o'clock. All of that ahead. Make sure you join 1025 The Game for the 2nd annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Gary Force Acura, benefiting Souls for Souls. Coming up on June the 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. You can put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs to support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes as well. You can sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, live and local from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. When you want the national
Hey. I got this. I'll take it from here.
Okay, go ahead. Dying to hear this.
We have the best national voices that you'll find anywhere.
Who was more deserving of being thrown from their game?
I'm odd, so I get the odd picks.
They have a new coaching staff.
It's not a bad scenario for them.
We are 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
And 94.9 The Fan.
laying waste to your town. Mastodon. Gojira. The Mega Monsters Tour. May 2nd at Nashville Municipal Auditorium. With special guest, Lord Ashore. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Total sensory overload. Mastodon and Gojira.
Attention, buckaroos. It's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1 FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Stonecrest in Smyrna offers world-class orthopedic care. The doctors at this location specialize in hand, knee, shoulder, hip, foot, ankle, and spine. Make better use of your time at Houston Clinic Orthopedics with on-site diagnostics and testing, timely appointments, and easy access to the facility. Get back to enjoying life. Schedule your appointment online at tn.houston.com. Houston Clinic Orthopedics at TriStar Stonecrest in Smyrna. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
Whoever just hit those brakes hard for no reason was definitely not you. Eric never brakes randomly on the highway, Rubino, because you are a safe driver. And like most drivers who sign up for Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate for how and how much you drive, you could earn a discount for your good driving. So keep on being you. Eric never brakes randomly on the highway, Rubino, and we'll keep on delivering the discounts. Sign up for Snapshot today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-484-5131 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-484-5131. That's 800-484-5131. What do you have to lose? Call 800-484-5131. Again, 800-484-5131.
Bon appetit.
Take some Titans.
Derrick Henry.
Some Preds.
Roman Yossi.
Even some hoops.
Light fires. Wow.
Put it in a blender. And what do you have? Chase and Michelle.
Pretty incredible.
Call or text and weigh in.
The fastest 2 hours in sports radio. Weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The best and worst of the sports week, now on Robby and Rexrode.
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your submissions, as always, on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, you are up first for your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Well, I could be creative, put some thought into it.
You could.
Go for a deep cut. But no, of course I will take the easy route. Best thing is the NFL draft is tonight.
That is the best thing.
I mean, sometimes you just have to do the obvious thing that's right in front of your face. The NFL draft, and the reason the NFL draft is better than the other drafts is, yes, because the NFL dominates the news cycle and all that stuff, and the NFL is the most popular sport, but also because, for the most part, it's a lot of people that we've been following for years, too, because college football is so popular. I mean, that's the difference. Their farm system is actually its own huge industry. And I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, the drama, the show, and also, when you know a lot of these players, Then we were just talking off air. Darnell Washington. Can't wait to see what that guy does in the NFL, you know? That's a fun part, too, is to imagine some of these players in different spots and how it's all going to work out. So, glad it's here. That's easily the best. The worst, I'm going to do my thing I do. It's just a lot of the crap around it, and this is every year. We're all sick of the mock drafts, although I just was all giddy going through Dane Brugger's last mock draft, so I guess I'm a hypocrite. I think this year, the Stroud thing in particular showed I have a real problem with misinformation is something you expect. I have a problem with anonymous people just tearing people down and taking shots at people, especially if whatever happened with this S2 thing, if this is just a self-serving GM, giving misinformation to a reporter to help him, so that bothers me.
Yep.
I would really like that particular GM called out. Now, if it's a little bit of something lost in the translation, okay, but that still is part of why it's an easy worst in sports. A lot of it gets very tiring, and I think C.J. Stroud has taken way more crap than he deserves. So that's my worst.
There you go. Michelle Knezovic, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Okay, my best thing in sports, I don't know if you guys saw this. This kind of surfaced last night on Twitter, but it was a video clip of Giannis's press conference after they lost their series 4-1 to the Miami Heat. And essentially the player asked him a question and said, do you consider this season a failure? And Giannis puts his hands in his head for a second, and you think, oh, gosh, what is he about to say? And then goes on, and I should have had the audio here, but you can find it on Twitter, and essentially goes on, so often we look at these monster teams. We look at guys like Giannis, guys like LeBron, even the Warriors trio, and you look at them and you think, okay, well, they didn't make it to the finals, so failure, season failure. And so often in sports, people are easy to write a team, write a player, write a season as a failure. And essentially he goes on to say, explaining how, every year is a stepping stone, and just because we didn't get to the ultimate goal. And I just thought he said it very, very adequately, and I think it's something that people should play for their kids. I think he had just a great version of, just because we didn't win and we didn't get it, doesn't mean it's a failure. So I thought Giannis had a great answer in that. And because my brain is complete mush right now, I'm going to do another best in sports. The Memphis Grizzlies bouncing back, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but Dylan Brooks deleted Instagram or something like that. And I'm like, you know what? Just get out of the drama. Just focus on the game. The team looked great last night. The Lakers
looked better when he wasn't playing.
Yeah, he was rough for a little bit. But, Desmond Bane, John Morant, both double-doubles last night. The team is young, and they have the ability to play super fast. And now with a quick turnaround, I do think they could have a possibility to win this series. The Lakers looked old last night. They looked slow. And this Memphis Grizzlies team, if they can wear them out, I feel good about them in the next game. So, two best in sports this week.
A double basketball best on draft day. Now that is dedication. Yes.
My brain is mush, guys.
It is.
Two best is good.
I'm going to go triple basketball. The best in sports is Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
Oh, Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Buckets.
56 points the other night against the Bucks in Game 4. A fourth quarter comeback, and then a 16-point comeback last night for the Heat again. And Jimmy Butler, I believe, had 42 last night. The guy is playing out of his mind right now. And I don't know how long he can keep that up at that level in the playoffs, but it's been the last two games, he has been unbelievable to watch. And they win. They're the first play-in team in the history of the NBA to win an actual series the next time around, and they take down the number one seed in the East. So, look, I don't know what that's going to mean. Are they just going to roll through the East now and come out and be the representative in the NBA Finals? I don't know. They got the Knicks coming up. That's Game 1's on Sunday. But as a Miami Heat fan, it has been a lot of fun to watch Jimmy Butler the last 5 games.
They pull me back
They pulled me back in there. They did.
I like
Give him a contract extension.
There you
go. My worst thing in sports has yet to happen, but we're going to see it tonight. And I cringe every year when I watch it. Really, it has nothing to do with the person or anything. It's just so awkward to watch. Hey, I just got drafted, let's go dap up Roger Goodell thing is
yes.
Oh gosh, some of the exchanges up there and the hugs, it's cringe to watch. It's like watching your grandfather do some of that stuff up there, and it's like, Roger, what are we doing, man?
What's up, dog?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Or when somebody
like going in for the bro hug, it's like, oh gosh, Roger Goodell going in for the bro hug. Sure, have at it, man.
Or when it's the home camera and you see somebody trying to hug the person who just got drafted and they're facing the other way and completely ignore them, and it's like such an awkward encounterment. I love those too.
Also, like, Roger Goodell, he's 64 now, so, he's not a spring chicken anymore. And some of these guys that get drafted, there's some big old boys that get drafted out there, and they're really excited coming up.
Lift him
and
up
the
and
squeeze and the lift sometimes, it's like, hey, man, ease up a little bit. He's going to get hurt out there.
Lucas Van Ness, break that spine. Be careful. Be gentle with Roger.
So
that's a good one.
It's one of my favorite things to watch every year, of just how cringe it is sometimes, of the first round Roger Goodell hugs that we're going to see tonight. It's going to be pretty special.
Right after he gets completely
just
booed
totally out of the building.
Yeah, and then everybody has to hug him.
And the best part about like the hugs, and people have talked about this before, it's like, oh, these players, it's a really exciting moment. They're hugging Roger Goodell, and then like fast forward 6 months and like everybody hates Roger Goodell again. It's like, okay, we'll hug you this one time
and
then completely stay away from me.
Yeah. Let's explain why you hate him now.
That's right.
By the way, Roger Goodell, since you brought it up, quick plug for Tim Graham has a really great story on him on The Athletic. I want to read this quote. Okay, it's about his legacy and stuff. A lot of people like rip Roger Goodell, but I mean, he does what the owners want him to do,
correct?
Right? And he just does the owner's bidding. Here's a quote from a sports sociologist, Jay Coakley, about his legacy. Quote, "Do puppets have legacies? I guess Pinocchio has one. He could be Roger's inspiration and role model," end quote.
Jeez.
Let's take some shots at Roger Goodell on draft day. What do you say?
Cam on the text line says, the best is the draft and the NHL playoffs. The worst is Dylan Brooks is an absolute clown and has to go. This is from Cam on the text line. An absolute clown. Joey from Bellevue on the text line says the worst is Nashville SC's forward situation. Got to get Heine some help. It would be nice to get him some help out there.
Forward too.
They did. No, Sapong, I believe, hadn't scored in almost a calendar year. So that's a tough one.
Here's a William from Madison. I saw a quick thing on this. The best thing in sports, just like Moonlight Graham in Field of Dreams. Drew Maggie, if I'm saying that right, 13 years in the minors. He had like this.
I saw that.
He's basically Crash Davis. I hope you all get that reference. And he gets. I saw the video clip of him getting up to the plate, and like the whole place, like, both dugouts give him a standing O. That's cool.
Pretty awesome.
Good call, William.
There's a nice video of him like while he's in the minors getting the call up, and like everybody in the locker room going nuts down in the minors. It was pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Jared Stillman.
Yay!
We'll get his thoughts on the Titans and the NFL draft coming up tonight. That is next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
Most people pick them to make the playoffs before the season even started.
And your source for Nashville sports.
He can still wait for 5 more games before he makes that decision.
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Baseball fans, your home for the best baseball action is 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan with the ESPN Game of the Week and the Nashville Sounds. It's all brought to you by Superbook Sports, the #1 sports book in Vegas. Download the Superbook app today.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity Line of Credit program is just what you need. Willie Donick here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity Credit Line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan would only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money to pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. Even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness and say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio for their news, traffic, weather, sports, and a community connection. It's the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. It's critical that we keep AM radio in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free emergency service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Now, your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezovic. The day is finally here. It's NFL Draft Day. The Tennessee Titans will have the 11th overall pick. Earlier this week, former GM Mark Dominic joined the show and gave some advice to Rand Carthon if he's thinking about drafting his franchise QB.
Well, I've got to get, number one, as much time as I can with the person, just to kind of get a sense, and put them around some veteran players. Like when I brought him in on a 30 visit, maybe I had a couple of the offensive linemen take him out to dinner and I got to be a part of it. Or maybe I didn't, and let those guys go out to dinner and just kind of come back to me and say, what was he like? Can you hold a conversation? He's a good guy, those kind of things. Like, you feel like he's got the it that you want to see. Measurables are great, but, the hardest thing to measure in the NFL is heart. And, that's the one thing where you sometimes, that's where most of our misses are, because there's just nothing out there that right now still can measure that. That's where, Bryce Young might be 5'10", but his heart might be 2 inches bigger than any other quarterback in this draft class. And so
the Memphis Grizzlies survived the Lakers in Game 5, 116-99. Memphis Grizzlies with 3 players with double-doubles. Now they'll head to L.A. for Game 6. This report is presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezovic for 102.5-106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rexrode. Chase and Michelle.
Caroline, Willie, D-Base.
Stoney Company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
1025 and 1063.
Crank City scores.
On both sides of the ball. One big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. We have made it to NFL Draft Day here in Nashville, Tennessee. And to help us talk about that, we welcome in our friend Jared Stillman to the program, who joins us every week. Jared, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are
Super
awesome.
duper.
Appreciate you taking time to be with us this morning. What did you think of the first Stillman and Company mock draft yesterday?
I think that I may have been right church, wrong pew yesterday by trading up with you with Arizona with number 3. As woke up this morning and we are monitoring the reports, and Diana Rossini saying the Titans are going to do what it takes to get their quarterback, and Aaron Wilson saying they're trying to move up to 3 to draft C.J. Stroud. So, again, like I said, right church, wrong pew, trading up to 3 for Anthony Richardson. I'd much rather have Richardson than Stroud at this point, but we are kind of following those reports. So, Joe, I felt like kind of shamed me. Maybe not Joe, more so the text line about the trade up to 3 for Anthony Richardson, but it looks like the Titans may, in fact, be doing that tonight.
So, if it's Richardson or Stroud or whatever it is, and I know you just said you want Richardson more,
Sure.
But the price that you paid in order to go move up, which for those who missed it was 11, 41, a 24 third that's conditionally could be a second, a 25 first rounder, and a 25 fifth rounder. If the Titans pay that or something similar to it, are you okay with it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way that I went through the chart yesterday for like literally each pick. So if the Titans were to trade up, what would it cost? And if the Titans were to trade back. So the cost, to equal the chart for the Arizona pick would be 11, 41, their second rounder next year, and a 7th and 24. So I paid a little bit more by giving you that 25 first, but not giving you a second next year. So what I thought I did was I thought I did a good job of getting the quarterback and allowing myself to be able to draft players for him next season, as well as, the 25 first. Either I'll be fired and it won't matter, or, I'll have a future franchise quarterback and we'll be picking 28th anyways. So that was kind of the way that I guess I processed that. I think I saw Peter Schrager today suggested that it would be like a first, a second, a third, and they'd get a fourth back. And the third would be next year and the fourth would be next year to move up to 3. I do wonder if because the for sale sign has been in the front yard of the Arizona Cardinals for so long, if the price is starting to drop a little bit.
So we know that if the Titans, however it comes about, come away with Anthony Richardson tonight, you will absolutely be a giddy child. Just right. I mean, you're. But here's my question: What if it's Stroud? What if it's Stroud? What's your reaction then? I know it's not going to be the Caleb Farley reaction of a couple years ago, but what is the Jared Stillman on-air reaction if it's C.J. Stroud?
First of all, I didn't have a crazy Caleb Farley reaction. I did. Chris Sanders had that, but I did go crazy about Radens and Monty Rice. But
really? I thought that was the one that Mark Howard laughed. No? Am I wrong about that?
No, that was Radens and Monty Rice. It was Chris Sanders was the one who went off on Farley. I mean, I didn't like the Farley pick, but I didn't, Chris was going crazy about it, which, I mean, Chris Sanders is the nicest guy in the world. So when Chris Sanders goes off on something, I will say that
probably tells you something.
Yeah, and Chris says some crazy stuff, which we all know, and that's why we love him. But when he gets vehemently upset about something, that's when we need to pay attention, because Chris is the nicest person who ever lived. But to answer your question about Stroud, I actually kind of had an outline of what I was going to talk about today last night. And one of the questions early on was, what do you do if C.J. Stroud falls? Because I don't want to trade up for C.J. Stroud. But if C.J. Stroud does fall, then do you take him? Do you trade out? That tells you how tepid I am about the idea of drafting Stroud in comparison to Richardson or Bryce Young. And they're not going to draft Bryce Young, but just saying that, I do not hold Stroud in the same regard that I hold those other two.
How much do you think that the draft, not only for the Titans, but for any team, beyond the first 2 picks that's looking to draft a quarterback, how much do you think whatever Houston decides to do tonight maybe hinges on the way this thing was go? And do you buy that Houston's not taking a quarterback at number 2?
So, I mean, honestly, how can they not take a quarterback? The only thing I could think of, and this honestly hit me on my drive home yesterday, and then I was talking to Corey Curtis about it, could they be working out a trade for Mac Jones? And the reason I say that this hit me on my drive home is, you guys know I listen to Boston radio, and they were talking about, how Bill won't commit to Mac Jones, and is Bill looking to get rid of Mac Jones? And I'm like, if you get rid of Mac Jones, where does he go? And the only thought that Houston. That's the only thing I could think of. Now, I mean, I can imagine Belichick would pick up the phone and say, okay, well, I want number 12, and Houston would laugh him out of the building. But I'm trying to answer your question. I don't know how they can't take a quarterback. What, are you going to walk into year 3 if you're Nick Caserio with no quarterback? So, I mean, if they were thinking that they weren't going to walk out of this draft with a quarterback, wouldn't they have signed a better bridge than Case Keenum? So I don't know. I have no idea at this point what they're going to do at quarterback, because all the smoke is that they're not going to go quarterback.
Well, that's why I was sort of on the Texans Lance train. I mean, DeMeco Ryans was there with him. Maybe he loves him, but
maybe he doesn't.
Maybe he doesn't. I mean, the Niners have poured a lot of cold water on moving him. By the way, do you buy that, Jared? Or you still think there's a possibility that we could see Trey Lance in a different uniform after tonight?
You're making it sound like they said something that I didn't hear that they said about Trey Lance.
Well, John Lynch I mean, he was pretty – I don't have it right in front of me, but he was pretty adamant that they are not moving Trey Lance this week in their little pre-draft press conference. I thought he made it pretty clear.
I feel like they have to do something. I mean, what are they going to break training camp? First of all, I don't think Sam Darnold signed there to be the number 3. So, I mean, my guess is that at some point, they're going to do something. I mean, what are they going to do? Pick up the 5th-year option next year if the guy never plays football? He's your third-string quarterback. He was the 3rd overall pick in the draft. You're going to pick up a $30 million option or whatever that 5th-year option would be, for the 3rd pick who's a quarterback. You're going to pick up that option, and the guy's never played football before? I have a hard time envisioning that. I think the 49ers are in a spot right now kind of similar to when the Titans fired John Robinson, which was you can make the trade now, and everybody will be a little surprised or say, man, they gave up all those picks, but we would understand. Just like when John Robinson got fired and there was a sense of, well, he traded away A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown just had 250 billion yards in that one game and spanked the goalpost. So, I mean, if you don't do that and let's say Purdy goes out there this year and he's not the guy, then you're kind of stuck with Lance. And if Lance isn't the guy, then everyone's going to look to you and get mad as opposed to right now where people would understand, well, Purdy's their quarterback.
So someone's asked on the text line if you're going to starch Richardson's undershorts and clip his toenails. But in a more relevant comment from Glenn in the Borough, someone please look at Richardson's game-by-game stats. Who cares about pro day with no defense on the field? He's not good.
Why do I care about somebody's college stats?
Make your case. Make your case for Anthony Richardson, Jared.
Well, I'm going to make my case against college
to move
stats.
up to 3.
My guess is old buddy there did not, I'm sure. I'm sure that he hasn't watched any of these games, and I'm sure that he just went to Google Anthony Richardson and pulled up the game log and said, well, look at these college stats. And, I'm just going to tell you, Vince Young had a higher completion percentage in college than Tom Brady did. RG3 was a higher-rated passer than Patrick Mahomes. John Elway was 4-7 as a junior and 5-6 as a senior. Tim Tebow was 26-2. So who'd you rather have, John Elway or Tim Tebow? Matt Leinart had 99 touchdowns and 23 interceptions. Dan Marino was 79-69. Jalen Hurts was benched in the national championship game because he was completely ineffective against Georgia, and he just signed for $51 million a year. And I don't want to bring this up, and this is my fear with C.J. Stroud. I think he might be Mariota. And Mariota in college, he lit it up, 105 touchdowns, 14 interceptions over 3 years. He won 88% of his games. He averaged 9.3 yards a pass over 3 seasons. And Marcus never did any of that here. Am I right, Robbie?
You're correct.
I mean, he had a couple good moments, but sure.
He did throw a nice touchdown pass to himself. He good
did.
Stuff. All right, so
look at the game log, his stats. He was
man.
What are you talking about? He threw for 400 against Tennessee. He threw for 400 against Vanderbilt.
I don't know that there's not a hashtag Glenn's film room, but apparently you think he's just Googling stats.
Maybe so. So, Jared, yesterday you had Washington traded up to get Hendon Hooker. Now, beyond the Washington part of this, let's say at pick 20, do you think that Hendon Hooker is still there by pick 20 when Seattle's scheduled to pick?
Oh, boy, that's tough. I mean, I do wonder, in that range where Tampa Bay sits at 19, Washington is at 16. Teams like Minnesota are in range to jump ahead of Seattle with that second pick at 20. Here's the thing about Hendon Hooker. I'm not sure Hendon Hooker is the 20th best player in this draft. But at the same time, I'm also not convinced that there is a single quarterback after him. So if you're one of these teams that is thinking either short-term quarterback or long-term quarterback, I do think that if all the other guys are gone and Hendon Hooker is sitting there, it's almost like if I don't get him now, then I have to go get somebody next year, one way or another, right? Like Kirk Cousins isn't going to be the starter in Minnesota, I don't think, next year. So they're going to have to do that. And yet, would it be a reach to take Hooker there? Now, I keep going back to what Rick Spielman said and Bill Polian said, and that was that in every draft, there's about 16 first-round players. I think Spielman said 16, Polian said 18. And so once you get into the later part of the first round, you're really just drafting a second-round player with a fifth-year option. And I was thinking about that, the idea of the grades and there's only so many first-rounders. Would a Hooker count as a first-rounder in that sense, or is he more likely to be a second-rounder in that sense? And if he's more of a second-rounder, would you move up to take him, knowing that now he's treated like a first-rounder and everybody, including your owner, probably thinks he's your quarterback of the future, whereas if you take a guy in the second round like Davis Mills was taken, there is not this consideration that he's the quarterback of the future. So that's a long-winded way of me saying to you, I don't know. I'm cautious. Like, let's say all the quarterbacks are gone at 11 and the Titans take Hooker. Like, I'm cautious of the commitment to Hooker, right? Like I vow and I promise that you will be my franchise quarterback. I struggle with that with Hooker. But then again, he's got a lot of great traits, and he's got some pretty concerning ones with the offense at Tennessee. But I think Hooker will be gone before 20. I think Hooker will be gone before 20 or at 20.
Jared Stillman with us here on Robby and Rexrode. Jared, thanks for being with us. We have made it to the draft. Thanks for having us be a part of the Stillman & Company draft yesterday. It was fun, and we'll be listening at 2 o'clock.
I actually had a good time with that draft last night. I don't know how many people listened to our mock draft yesterday, but I actually had fun with it, and somebody told me, yes, it was a nice change-up from you and Joe yelling at each other.
Yeah, that was fun. Speaking of mock drafts, just to leave you with this, have you seen Brugler's last one?
I have not seen
get ready.
I pay premium dollars for that. Hold on. Have you seen Daniel Jeremiah's last mock draft?
Yeah, I don't know
he's
what
out there a little bit.
I almost cried when I saw that.
Going on over there.
I almost cried when I saw Daniel Jeremiah. Zay Flowers at 11 and Anthony Richardson at 20?
That would be wild.
I almost cried.
Something's going to happen tonight that's wild.
One last one before we get out of here. This time tomorrow, is C.J. Stroud the future quarterback of the Titans?
I say no.
I say no also.
Boy, that actually gives me hope. I think yes. All right, see you guys.
All right, we'll see you. Jared Stillman, our guest on Robby and Rexrode. We'll continue the conversation on the draft, including some very interesting comments from Diana Rossini this morning on ESPN. We'll get to that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
White 85!
Every team needs a quarterback.
White 85! Take!
That's why we have
Hasselbeck, bootleg, rollout, toss, touchdown!
Tim.
You can run good plays at the right time.
ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck gives his expertise on all things NFL.
You evaluate players, and then you're turning them over to the coaching staff.
Every Tuesday at noon.
At the right time.
With Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace. Tim on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in 3 easy steps. 1. Get a free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with a check in about an hour. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at WeBuyAnyCar.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
Well, family and fun come together.
33 hours of savings this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Electronic Express. These deals are so hot they only last 33 hours. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349, or a JBL Bluetooth speaker for just $59. Save up to 50% on 4K TVs, computers, housewares, appliances, and more. Don't miss out on a Go Wise air fryer for just $79, or an Amana laundry pair for just $449 each. Now through Saturday. Shop online or at all Electronic Express locations.
The Beach Boys. Live in concert. May 25th, 26th, and 27th at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. Performing with the Nashville Symphony. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Don't miss the Beach Boys live with the Nashville Symphony.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-283-5948. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-283-5948 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-283-5948 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-283-5948.
We try to stay cool by being on social media.
I'm with it. I'm hip.
Follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame and on Instagram at 1025thegame Nashville.
Hey!
Oh yeah, and like us on Facebook too.
Good morning.
You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I had the radio on. I'm listening to
1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's the latest on what you're hearing on the Titans draft plans tomorrow night?
Field, I sat with Titans new GM Rand Carthon in his office to go over the mood of the building on draft eve, as well as try to get more information as to what they are going to do with that pick at 11. And he tells me they're really calm, they're prepared. In fact, head coach Mike Vrabel and him sat together for 2 hours and they set their draft board. They are ready to go for Thursday night. So what are they going to do with their pick at 11? Carthon tells me they're open to everything. They're willing to move out, they're willing to stay. They're also willing to move up. In fact, I spoke to some sources around the league, teams like the Arizona Cardinals, who have taken calls from the Tennessee Titans about perhaps trading up. Now, the player they're going for, Carthon wouldn't tell me what they're doing, but my sense is the Tennessee Titans have their eyes on a quarterback, and they're going to do everything they can to go get him.
So that was Diana Russini last night on ESPN discussing the Titans and the draft coming up tonight in the first round.
Or the Titans.
I'm telling people it's a New York thing.
Not just you.
Titans. Titans.
Listen, I get enough flack for this.
And it's not even fair. You're catching strays because Diana Russini did. Honestly, I've never noticed that before from Diana Russini. She does a lot of Titans coverage.
She did it twice.
Yeah.
2 times.
That's weird. Maybe she fell into a bad habit. She has mostly fixed it, but she fell into a bad habit one time. I don't know.
Yeah, give her the benefit of the doubt.
Well, I'm going to go back and listen now to a bunch of videos Diana Russini. You know, LD on the text line brought up a good point. Interesting that ESPN has a reporter at the team with the number 11 pick. It's not like although they do have, because, you know, obviously TD's here. I mean, yeah. TD can handle the ESPN stuff on air for them from here. They send Diana. Usually you send out a Russini or these other reporters. That's for a prominent pick in the draft. I'm just saying.
That's actually a good point.
Got to be prepared. I mean, look, it's no secret that there's a lot of smoke around the Titans maybe moving up in the draft. So got to be prepared for it, I guess. But, I mean.
Hey, folks, let's talk about Peter Skoronski and the Titans.
Joe.
Sorry.
In all seriousness, I don't know that we learned really anything new there in the Diana Russini report. I mean, her sense is that the Titans will do everything it takes to get a quarterback. We'll see.
Yeah,
Rand Carthon, Rand Carthon's not coming out saying, "Hey, Diana, here's what we're doing. We're going to go get a quarterback right now. Just watch yourself."
Well, yeah. Now, look, you sat in with Rand Carthon, so you talked about different things.
Sure.
Now, look, Diana Russini has been around here a lot, has reported a lot of Titans news. Who is it? Who gives Diana Russini that? I don't know, but I think I would say part of her being here is that she is more plugged into this
100%.
Franchise than others.
Yeah.
So she talked about league sources. I'm always, I think in my head, okay, you switch to league sources. So is it league sources that make you feel like the Titans are going to get a quarterback, or is it a Titan source that you're saying is a league source to protect the source?
It's a great question.
Because technically
I don't have an
in
answer
the league.
They are in the league.
That's true. No, that's absolutely right. No doubt about it. So, and that's interesting. Now, who is it? Who is there one quarterback the Titans are like, this is one? I wrote this column this week, ruling out Stroud, in part because, well, one, I've not bought that the Titans are going to mortgage everything to move up that high, and I still think he's going that high. And also, I think that not having a team visit means something. But is it possible? I mean, this is getting Jarrett-y.
I'm here for it. Keep going.
But is it possible that Stroud not having the team visit is part of their little throw people off the scent a little bit, and it's been Stroud all along?
Maybe Vrabel found out everything he needed to know at the Pro Day in Columbus.
Well, look, I mean, who was it that who was it that reported Vrabel was like, hey, meet me in the weight room, CJ?
Oh, I can't remember who that was, but
one of the NFL reporters, but look, they had a conversation. But again, so Rand gets asked that question the other day, and he's like, yeah, Mike and Tim Kelly talked to him.
Yep.
So, I mean, and Jared had the same. It's like, gosh, you're gonna put the whole future on the guy that you didn't have that day with one of your top 30 visits?
It's a great question.
But maybe he didn't mention, and then I spent an hour with him in Columbus after they did. I don't know. I can't wait for the draft to come, though, so we can stop guessing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, she says do whatever it takes to get a quarterback. I mean, first off, once again, highly rooting for it. Hope that happens tonight. But who is it? That's the real question. Like, is it Stroud? Is it Richardson? Because I feel like
is there more than one guy they'd be happy
is it
to
more
get?
than one? Yeah. I feel like for most Titans fans, and tell me whether or not you agree. Like, I feel like the Titans fans believe that C.J. Stroud would be the safer pick, and that I think more Titans fans would be okay with moving up to get C.J. Stroud than they would be for Anthony Richardson. That's just my read on it.
Not Jared.
I know, but the Titans fans, like my overall Titans gauge, unofficially in my head, I think that more Titans fans would be okay moving up to get Stroud than Richardson.
I think you're probably right. Nathan from Lawrenceburg says, don't know if you guys just saw this. Hey, we're doing a show, dude. But the NFL Network just had a mock draft and has the Titans trading up to 3 for Stroud. Who?
I saw that. It was Strager.
Oh, Strager did that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so Will from Nashville.
So we did see it, Nathan. Thank you for pointing that out. After Joe was getting off.
I'm focused on the show. I'm locked in on our show.
That's good.
Personally, okay? Will from Nashville.
I'm not.
Will, you're just up there looking for Jimmy Butler highlights.
Yes.
Will from Nashville says, just not sure either way about Stroud. And here's the thing with Stroud. High floor for sure, right? I mean, I think the floor is much higher, I'd say, for Stroud and for Bryce Young than probably the other three.
I would agree.
But I do think Richardson's ceiling is higher. And Richardson's ceiling is higher than Stroud's, I believe. I believe that.
I agree with that too. Just the range on Richardson is it's like the Grand Canyon, man. Like it's wide.
It's a chasm.
It is wide. Coy in Clarksville says, if we're giving up multiple first-round picks, Arizona better throw in D-Hop. We need a good veteran wide receiver to help our potentially new rookie quarterback. This is from Coy in Clarksville on the text line.
There's also a lot of support for correcting people who say tight ends on the text line. I'm sorry.
Everybody has trouble with something in their life.
I pronounce everything perfectly. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
sciatica. By the way.
Hey, the draft,
I think today is literally the 2-year anniversary of that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, today is the 2-year anniversary of you
exciting.
sciatica.
That's wonderful.
And did find that audio. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. We'll continue to take your thoughts on the NFL draft. We'll also get into the NBA and NHL playoffs from last night. That action as well. Charles Robinson coming up from 8 to 8:30. So lots of football talk to get into with him as well. All that ahead. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The offseason is underway for the Predators. But don't worry. We'll keep you covered with all of the happenings in Smashville.
Wouldn't it be a great party if we could win a cup?
What does new GM Barry Trotz have in store?
We're going to make good decisions. We're going to develop our players.
We are your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Breaking Benjamin. Live in concert in Franklin. with special guests Bush. And Another Day Dawns. First Bank Amphitheater, May 3rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit breakingbenjamin.com. Get tickets now.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated, B&B Flooring's full-service commercial and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
It's almost time to celebrate all the moms out there, and Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel would like to invite you to their special Mother's Day brunch. Celebrate this special day with Mom and enjoy Chef John Welch's amazing traditional farm-to-fork Southern dishes with recipes handed down from generations. Get your reservations in today as availability will fill up quickly. Kitchen Notes in the heart of Sobro inside the Omni Nashville Hotel features their Mother's Day brunch from 10 a.m. to 3, and you can make your reservation on opentable.com.
This far into rush hour traffic, most people would have rage accelerated at least once. But not you, Lacey No Hard Accelerations Ever Johnson, because you are a safe driver. And like most drivers who sign up for Snapshot from Progressive, which customizes your rate for how and how much you drive, you could earn a discount for your good driving. So if your hula dancing dashboard doll thinks you're going to hard accelerate because you're running late, then your hula dancing dashboard doll doesn't know. Lacey No Hard Accelerations Ever Johnson. Sign up for Snapshot today.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in all states or from all agents.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN17. Use code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Nashville Sounds Baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike three.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds Baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
What's happening in Nashville? This is Scott Van Pelt. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Don't miss Nashville's best NFL draft coverage on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Join Caroline Fenton, Derek Mason, and Chris Sanders on location as we broadcast live tomorrow for day 2 of the draft. We'll be out the Inglewood Wingstop, located at 3300 Gallatin Pike, where flavor gets its wings. The first 100 people to stop by during the draft will receive a coupon for 5 free boneless wings for their next visit. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, helping home buyers and sellers in Middle Tennessee for 20 years. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. We got Charles Robinson coming up for his weekly visit at 8 o'clock, so looking forward to that conversation with him. Right now, taking your thoughts on the text line, which is exploding with all sorts of stuff right now on the text line.
Yeah, some real slander at me, by the way. Is this true? Where the heck is it? Where the heck is it? I've lost it. The text line's going crazy. Stop it, text line. Well, I'll just tell you. Dude, seriously, what are people doing over here?
I don't know.
I'll just tell you that someone said, basically, to paraphrase, you're making fun of Michelle saying tight ends. I start every sentence with yeah.
Oh.
Is that true? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if, you know what? My favorite thing is like when you disagree. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I think I'm more like,
Patrick Hornquist used to do that a lot.
Like, you know what I mean? What's that?
Patrick Hornquist used to do that a lot. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
We all have our
Am
crutch words.
Am I Philip Forsberg?
Yeah, that was that was a good one early in his career.
No, but Forsberg, right? Yeah.
And
yeah. All right.
Maybe so.
Anyway.
You're Skiatika.
Yeah, there's always that.
I don't know if anything will ever beat that. Maddie on the text line says that, quote, I just spoke with all Titans fans. As the representative, we are 41% Stroud, 32% Richardson, and 27% trade back. You're welcome. Tough job that doesn't pay well, but it's a service I honorably provide for just WHMR. We appreciate it. Thank you.
But then I asked him, what's the number on Levis?
Didn't mention it.
Get back
I guess
to
0.
Yeah, negative something.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll continue the conversation on the NFL draft coming up. Joe, I do want to get to some NBA playoff action last night. Michelle was there in person for the Grizzlies. They stay alive last night as they take down the Lakers 116-99, the final last night. So Memphis stays alive and forces a Game 6. Now you got to go out to L.A. and win the game in L.A. in order to come back home for Game 7. But LeBron, not very good last night. 5 of 17 from the field, 15 points for LeBron last night. He did have 10 rebounds and 5 assists, but he was not very happy with himself in the post-game press conference. Ja Morant with 31 points last night. Desmond Bane, 33 points last night, so the leading scorer for the Grizz.
Desmond Bane, is he the most underrated guy in the NBA? I mean,
He's up
the guy's
there.
a star. The guy's fantastic. But some of those Ja drives last night, when he wants to just attack people, my goodness.
Yep.
And he talked after the he
spoke.
He talked to me. Okay, good.
He did.
Good. You guys won. You're good at talking. Okay, thank you.
It was good. The Knicks closed out their series last night, 106-95, so they advance past Cleveland to the second round, as do the Miami Heat last night against Milwaukee, 128-126 in overtime. They were down 16. Jimmy Butler with 42 last night. The Heat come back and win. It'll be Heat and Knicks in round 2 beginning on Sunday.
My question would be, because I think the Lakers better win this next game, but certainly they could at home. When's the last time we had a 1 on one side and a 2 on the other side out in the first round?
It's a great question.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
maybe never. I mean,
yeah.
you have to go back and look.
Yeah. When did that happen?
Well, because that's the only the 8th time. What seed was Miami again?
They're 8.
That was only the 8th time an 8 seed knocked out a 1 seed. So I mean,
yeah, and the 7-2 doesn't happen much on its own either. So yeah.
The Warriors win last night, 123-116, in a series that continues to be very high scoring. But the Warriors have rolled off 3 in a row here, up 3-2 with a chance to close out in Game 6.
Draymond, 21 points, 7 assists.
they're gonna win.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox. The thing is, he came right out and hit like 3 threes. Like, oh, okay, well, the finger's fine. But then
He shot
I do
25
think
times last night.
Yeah, I think it affected him eventually. Malik Monk. I mean, they're such a fun team. It stinks that one of these teams won't be playing for this, but it looked like, an experienced team in the fourth quarter, showing why they got championship DNA.
25 shots. It's a lot of shots.
It is. How about Kevon Looney with like 22 rebounds and 2 shots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the NHL yesterday, the Panthers stay alive. They win 4-3 in overtime against Boston, despite being outshot 47-25. So, good goaltending performance by Bobrovsky, including Marchand had a breakaway as time was expiring in the third period, and Bobrovsky made the save. Panthers stay alive. They'll be back at home for Game 6. And then the Seattle Kraken yesterday, Joe Rexrode, win 3-2 on the road in Colorado. So no Cale Makar yesterday for the Avalanche. And the Kraken have rolled off 2 straight here, and they lead Colorado 3-2 in the series, going back home for Game 6. So the reigning Cup champions on the ropes against the Kraken coming up in Game 6.
And Rantanen hurt again.
Yeah, I have no idea what his status is going to be.
Now, Makar is coming back, and know they missed him. But this one, it's the defending champ, and it's a team that certainly, although they've been banged up all year, it's not the same team as last year. They lost some key players from last year, but still, this would be a stunner if Seattle actually pulls this off.
Well, this was the series that I thought would probably be over the quickest, and I mean, if Colorado's going to win, it's going 7. Like it's got to go 7 at this point. Seattle, look, that place. I watched the last 2 games that they played at Climate Pledge in Seattle. place is going nuts. It's going to be crazy. And they're on I guess they play Friday. Is that right? Yep, Friday night for Game 6 with a chance to close out the reigning Cup champs. That'd be something.
There's too many important games in both leagues going on, and it's going to be like the second and third round of the draft.
And they're too late. They're too late. We need matinee, hockey, basketball, and then the draft at night.
Like tonight is
like morning starts.
Tampa Bay and Toronto, and then there's the Rangers and the Devils tonight. Like I really want to watch both of those games, but it's like, man, I'm going to be watching the draft tonight. So
multi-screen.
Yeah, I mean we can multi-screen it for sure, and that's going to happen tonight. But I mean Tampa Bay, Toronto, Game 5 tonight. They're up. The Leafs are up 3-1. So, I mean, they're in control, but, man, if they lose this game tonight, the panic is going to creep in. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, it doesn't take much. It's like all you have to do is win 1 of 3. But if you lose this one, now you go back there, and you don't want Game 7. I don't care where it is. You don't want it in your own living room.
Right. No, you don't. Like, I mean, the Toronto fan, if they lose this game tonight, it's going to be like, oh, God, you got to go back to Tampa for Game 6 on the road. And then Game 7 at home if you lose that with the pressure that's going to be in that place, man.
I kind of wish the Leafs would just win one so this angst can just go away because it really is. It's dramatic. It just goes 0 to 100 so quickly.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
And they've earned it.
They keep doing
No, it's funny.
Rangers and Devils tonight in Game 5. That series tied up at 2. Winnipeg and Vegas tonight in Game 5. Vegas with an opportunity to close that out tonight at home as well. So that's the NHL playoffs tonight. Only one game in the NBA tonight, and that is the Celtics and the Hawks.
A game that we didn't think would happen.
We did not think would happen, and I don't know that I'll be watching 1 second of that one tonight.
No.
Trae Young, though, he's been pretty good.
Good for Ice Trae. You hit a 35-footer and then do the little thing. I mean, hey, man, he's still fun to watch.
He's fun to watch.
Doesn't share the ball, but fun to watch.
That's just Boston.
Hope people have fun watching him.
Yeah, it'll be one more game.
Yes. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We got a lot of odds rolling in on the text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Somebody says the Titans 2023 first-round draft odds, 47% someone with a lingering hamstring injury, 34% someone recovering from surgery, and 17% someone you've never heard of, 2% someone who can play more than 4 games in 2023. There you go.
Yeah.
Not a lot of faith.
Yeah, that's funny.
Not a lot of faith in the Titans. Remember, this is a new GM making these picks. Maybe Rand Carthon says, you know what? I don't want any part of Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't trust the hamstring. I'm not doing it.
Maybe Rand Carthon likes injured players even more than his predecessor. We don't know.
Maybe he does. He's like, you know what? Yeah, that guy's got his injury out of the way. Let's go ahead and get to it.
Who out there's got serious back issues?
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Coming up next, it is time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. We will do that coming up next. Make sure you tune in for Nashville Sounds baseball tonight at 6:35 on 94.9 The Fan. The Sounds taking on the Omaha Storm Chasers, the AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When it comes to Nashville sports,
locking up Jeffrey Simmons, clearly that was a priority for them.
He knows his stuff.
A little bit good, a little bit bad.
And knows how to push the right buttons.
He's coming off an ACL tear, and he's 25 years old, so you cannot ignore that.
Join Outkick's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company. Withrow.
What I hate more than anything is people that are phony and not true to themselves.
Is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Baseball fans, your home for the best baseball action is 102.5 The Game and 94.9 The Fan with the ESPN Game of the Week and the Nashville Sounds. It's all brought to you by Superbook Sports, the #1 sports book in Vegas. Download the Superbook app today.
Real estate investors, listen up. D&M Development announces the pre-sale of Nashville's only non-owner occupied short-term rental resort community. The New Cumberland is perfectly located between Germantown and East Nashville with amazing views of the city and the Cumberland River. The New Cumberland is a resort-style community featuring community pools, spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths. D&M Development is releasing 16 units in their Phase 1. Available now. Go to thenewcumberland.com for information. That's thenewcumberland.com.
Want to enter the construction field as a career?
Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
Men, this is Evan Bass with the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and I've been helping men with sexual health issues for many years. I've seen the pain and anxiety that men walk into the clinic with when erectile dysfunction is affecting them. And I also know the heartache and difficulty it can bring to their partner. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we've been successfully treating men for ED for many years now. We've seen the amazing impacts that those treatments have on a man's confidence and positivity. And we've seen the wonderful things those treatments also do for a man's relationship. That's why I'm pleased to announce that we are now offering the same great services we offer at our Nashville clinic at our new location in Franklin, which will make it much more convenient for those men living south of Nashville to get treated. So call us today and book your appointment at our Midtown location or at our new clinic in Cool Springs. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatment, sex start, results vary.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Bite a Bit Thai and Sushi in the heart of East Nashville. Get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Featuring all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails, plus an amazing bar and environment. You can eat a bit and bite a bit with this week's half-off deal. Check out biteabitnashville.com. That's Bite a Bit in East Nashville. Half off at thegamenashville.com/deals.
The Beach Boys. Live in concert. May 25th, 26th, and 27th at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. Performing with the Nashville Symphony. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Don't miss the Beach Boys live with the Nashville Symphony.
They talk sports.
The Predators get the 2 points, which is obviously what they needed.
They're not making big moves that are jaw-dropping signings in free agency.
They talk life.
Well, I almost just fell down the stairs, so there's that.
My backpack was so heavy, the seatbelt alarm was going off the entire trip.
But most of all, they have a good time.
Here or there.
Yeah.
Chase and Michelle, weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
On Brugler, he actually has him fourth. He has him as a first, second round grade and number 30 overall. I mean, I think that's got to be largely about the injury. You're talking about a microdiscectomy. Ugh. By the way, I didn't even realize this. He also has had a torn ACL in the past. And sciatica symptoms from lifting weights that required a different surgery. So 2 surgeries plus an ACL.
What was that last word?
Sciatica. Sciatica, and I may be totally butchering that, symptoms from lifting weights.
You probably sciatica? Are.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, it's sciatica. Oh, my God, I'm an idiot.
Happy anniversary, Rexrode. The 2-year anniversary of sciatica here on the program, as we were discussing Caleb Farley at the time.
It's only fair. And now I'm changing my rant. I just want to talk about the Tennessee Titans and what the Titans can do in the draft. What should the Titans do? Should the Titans? Who should the Titans take? Yeah. Who should the Titans take? Yeah. Hey, it's only fair. It really is amazing.
You're like all official, saying all these medical terms, and Robbie's like, Joe, what was that? You're like, sciatica.
That's the thing. I think I said microdiscectomy like pretty well.
You did.
Right? Yeah. And then I said sciatica.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I think the best comment from that day was somebody on the text line says, sciatica. Sounds like a Finnish goaltender.
I forget that. That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, the floor is yours for the Rex rant.
I don't even know how long I want to spend on this. We can get back into football, but I would just, and this is probably just me humble bragging, but the in-laws are coming to town this week. You know, my Caroline has the second weekend of the big play, and so that means house cleaning. So yesterday, let me tell you what I did. I cleaned the garage out. I took our broken box springs that I couldn't fit into the car to take to the dump, and I took a huge sledgehammer to them and smashed the wood and bent it, and then I bent the thing in half, and right now it's in the back of my of the car out there, so I got that done. I cleaned 2 bathrooms, and I'm talking scrubbing the soap scum and just getting into the nitty-gritty of cleaning the toilets and the showers. I dusted, the TV room, got up and dusted the fan, and the dust bunnies flying everywhere and all that stuff. I mean, I put in some work. I was
impressive.
Drenched in sweat. And, you guys may not be able to notice it today, but when I stand up today, it is screaming pain. Speaking of sciatica, sciatica, whatever you call it, screaming pain. My right knee, which I'm pretty sure I partially tore again my patella tendon just playing pickup basketball, is just in misery. Like, I can't put weight on it, and I'm just falling apart. And I don't really have like a complaint other than yesterday is just another one of those days that reminds you, man, we are just rotting corpses.
We are.
That's correct. That's my rant. Like, we're
50
dying
and thriving.
What's that?
I said 50 and thriving.
I mean, basically you get to 18 and then you're just dying from there.
You do still have gray hair.
Okay, well, now I'm 25 and depressed now.
I mean, you're way into your you're rotting.
I'm
7 years deep.
I'm way out of my prime.
But athletic prime is 28 to 32. So you guys are still good.
I'm not very athletic.
That means I'm right in the middle of my athletic prime. I do not feel that way.
But at least if you were training, if you were playing a sport or whatever, and you were actually devoted to it, you could still be at the best you could possibly be in your life. So that's still a good age.
Yeah, you still could be performing at an NHL level, Robby. Is what
good.
Joe's saying.
Yeah.
Like, even Tom Brady wouldn't try to play at my age,
Coward. He wouldn't do it.
We don't know yet.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Close.
So I'm just I'm in a lot of pain today, and I wanted you all to know. And basically I wanted to brag about all the stuff I did.
I got a bonus Rob rant that we're going to go to right now. And that just happened on Twitter. Nashville protest fish on Twitter, whoever that is, says, I don't understand all this talk about trading up for a quarterback. You guys have talked about this every day, and there's no way this is happening. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah.
How do you know there's no way that this is happening? It's not like Joe and I are the ones making this up with the Titans. There's all sorts of reporting and speculation and all these different things about the Titans potentially trading up to get a quarterback. So will it happen tonight? I have no idea. I have no idea if the Titans are going to trade up to go get a quarterback. But to act like there's no way it's going to happen is ridiculous. There's absolutely a way it could happen.
Yeah, that's a Twitter troll response, right? I mean, let me see. Is this an actual person who puts their name on anything, or is it just like some fake person?
It's a Nashville protest fish.
Okay.
I don't know
A
what it
disgruntled
means.
catfish will not rest until John Hines is relieved of coaching duties. All right.
Okay.
I actually do like the Twitter account.
I do too.
Protest
It's pretty fun.
fish.
Wait, is that really their account? It says that in the bio?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know there's no way. There's totally a way this is happening. Again, give LD from McMinnville credit, for bringing this up. And Diana Rossini's here just for the huge Broderick Jones pick tonight.
Yeah.
Man, who knows? We don't know what's going to happen. There's plenty of smoke and there's plenty of reason that they might do it.
Well, look at
Nashville protest fish.
There are how many drafts or moves discussed or talked about, or maybe even on the phone with other general managers when teams are on the clock that don't actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens all the time.
Does that not mean there's a way?
Right. Look, the Titans very well could go through tonight and, number one, not take a quarterback at all. But number two, even if they do take a quarterback, not have to move up to do it. Like, there's a very real possibility that they're not moving up tonight.
And then Nashville protest fish like, I told you it was never
but
going to happen.
To sit here and act like that's just there's no chance whatsoever that's going to happen, I just don't think it's a very good read of the situation.
It's a bad read.
I think there is a chance that happens, and that's what makes this draft so intriguing from the Titans standpoint is the quarterback part of this is a real possibility this year. And there are years where it's not. It is this year. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have to move up to do it. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get one. Look, this could happen too. They could have the intentions of going to get a quarterback and it just not work. Like other teams either have a better offer or they want to stay put where they are.
I mean, I beat you out yesterday trading up to Caroline Fenton to get my
you
Lucas
did.
Van Ness for the Steelers.
You did. I mean, there are teams that get, beaten out of a trade all the time. So, let's chill on there's no way this is going to happen. There's a way.
It's happening.
Michelle says it's happening.
By the way,
I feel pretty confident it is.
This is since this is the rant and we can go into different things. Someone is saying that Junnie says especially instead of especially. Is that true?
I don't know. I never noticed.
I'm not sure.
We'll
Sometimes you host with somebody and you don't realize it.
No, we need to get Junnie to say
especially.
It's kind of like Chase. According to Ian Rappaport.
That's the Grey Poupon.
Oui, Ian Rappaport. We all have our things.
I got a text that says, nobody knows what will happen except the Panthers at pick number 1. After that, it's a roll of the dice. Amen. That's what makes the draft so fun.
Exactly. That was a good secondary rant. It was a better rant than mine, crying about cleaning a bathroom.
Got Will from Nashville says, you're great about keeping the youngins in line, talking about us, or talking to you about us. It says, Robby never needs correcting. He gets stuff right. That is 100% not true.
I need correcting a lot.
It's 100% not true. I get things wrong all the time.
No.
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 Not going to happen. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports for his weekly visit. We got a lot to get into with him. The draft coming up tonight in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers introduced as quarterback of the New York Jets yesterday. We'll get into that with Charles as well. A lot to get to on that front. Make sure you tune into Nashville's best NFL draft coverage on 102.5, 106.3 The Game for the first 3 rounds coming up tonight and tomorrow. Coverage presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment, thenewcumberland.com, Smoky Mountain Tops, Parman Energy, B&B Flooring, and the Nashville Sheriff. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
They played tough. They came back and they still lost.
And your source for Nashville sports.
Yes, you want to have a fire sale, but who's going to buy those players?
We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Attention, buckaroos. It's time for the Franklin Rodeo. So saddle up and hold on to your lasso. It's 3 days of bull riding, calf roping, western wear, funny clowns, and some of the most talented horses you've ever seen. Join the Stampede from May 18th to May 20th. The Franklin Rodeo is held at the Williamson County Ag Expo Park and is brought to you by Ram Rodeo, Franklin Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Williamson Health, Event 1FX, and Wesley Mortgage. Tickets on sale now at franklinrodeo.com. It's a buckin' good time.
Half of me wants a cold beer.
Hey Nashville, Thomas Rhett here, and I cannot wait to be back at Bridgestone Arena.
Thomas Rhett, Home Team Tour 23, with special guests Cole Swindell and Nate Smith. Second Nashville show added, Saturday, September 30th at Bridgestone Arena. On sale Friday at 10 a.m.
Get your tickets at livenation.com and come party with us.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the best Superstart battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code ESPN10. Use code ESPN10 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Now, your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezovic. The day is finally here. It's NFL Draft Day. The Tennessee Titans will have the 11th overall pick. Earlier this week, former GM Mark Dominic joined the show and gave some advice to Rand Carthon if he's thinking about drafting his franchise QB.
Well, I've got to get, number one, as much time as I can with the person, just to kind of get a sense and put them around some veteran players. Like when I brought him in on the 30 visit, maybe I had a couple of the offensive linemen take him out to dinner and I got to be a part of it. Or maybe I didn't and let those guys go out to dinner and just kind of come back to me and say, what was he like? Can you hold a conversation? He's a good guy, those kind of things. Like, do you feel like he's got the it that you want to see? Measurables are great, but, the hardest thing to measure in the NFL is heart. And, that's the one thing where you sometimes, that's where most of our misses are, because there's just nothing out there that right now still can measure that. That's where, Bryce Young might be 5'10", but his heart might be 2 inches bigger than any other quarterback in this draft class. And so
the Memphis Grizzlies survived the Lakers in Game 5, 116-99. Memphis Grizzlies with 3 players with double-doubles. Now they'll head to L.A. for Game 6. This report is presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. I'm Michelle Knezovic for 102.5-106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
1, 2, 3. I think it was a good game. Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. We have finally made it to NFL Draft Day here on the program, and to help us talk about that and more in the NFL, we go to our 1025 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, and welcome in Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports, brought to you by the NFL Alumni Association. Charles, good morning. Happy Draft Day to you.
Good morning. I'm so happy we are finally here and get this thing rolling, get it offloaded.
Me too. The mock draft season officially coming to a close today, which is always good news here on the program. I just want to start with a general question for you, because the idea around this draft from general managers that are talking to people out there seems to be that this could be a wild and unpredictable draft starting in the first round tonight. What are your thoughts on that, and just how unpredictable this thing could be, really starting with Houston and what they're going to do at number 2 overall?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, it's, some guys are saying it publicly. Ballard, Chris Ballard with the Colts, Terry Fontenot with the Falcons, basically just came out and said, how crazy this process feels right now. And when you talk to guys behind the scenes, what usually happens leading up to a draft, particularly in the top 10, 15, you have a lot of execs that are up there that try to figure out, let's see if we can, understand who values what and how these picks could fall in front of us. It gets a little harder to do once you usually, get well outside the top 10 or 12. And this year, it's been hard no matter where you are. I mean, it's I had a chance to talk to a team in the top 10, and we were sort of sitting there and going back and forth on the picks, and like this GM just straight up said to me, like, it's number one is it. Like, that's the only the pick that we're sure about is number one, and then after that, there's 50 million things that could end up happening. And I think part of it is that when we went into this draft and we went to the combine, we were like, oh, there's 4 good quarterbacks, and they performed well enough at the combine that we thought, all right, there's a chance that these quarterbacks stack up at the top of the first round, and that's going to help out considerably, because then you figure out who moves up to 3. Obviously, 1 needs a quarterback, 2 needs a quarterback, 3 someone will trade in, and then 4 needs a quarterback, and that will help us determine where the rest of this order goes. Unfortunately, it's been such an uneven process with the quarterbacks in terms of who likes who, their different styles, the resumes are different, the sizes are different, the S2 scores, that all became a big deal the last couple of weeks. And so slotting those quarterbacks just became a little more difficult for everyone else. And as you said, Houston at number 2, the natural thought process of them absolutely taking a quarterback there got a little crazier when it was clear they really liked Bryce Young, and if they weren't going to get a shot at Bryce Young at number 2, would they then take a premium defensive player and try to figure out how they could manage a quarterback either later in the draft or maybe through a trade process? And that's why at this last moment, you're getting a lot of this talk about Houston trying to move up from 12 to accomplish that. Still take a premium defender at 2, and then maybe try to get cute if a quarterback either starts falling or if they have to, potentially even go into Arizona at 3 to get that done. The Cardinals are having a really hard time trading out of 3 right now.
Well, you mentioned the S2 scores, Charles, and the CJ Stroud stuff, came out, I think, Friday, day after we talked last week. And I think that ties into all this, right? With Houston. First of all, do you buy that Houston's out on him? And second of all, personally, I believe that CJ Stroud has a much better S2 second taking score that 15 teams in this league have possession of and 17 don't. But how much do you care about that? Do teams care about that? Are you finding there's a wide range of caring about that as part of the formula?
Right. So, okay, I can say this about Stroud and the S2. I don't know about the retest. He's not the only one that did a retest. There's more than one guy that did a retest. The teams I talked to would tell me that his initial test, the one that created all this ruckus, was bad. They would not say whether or not it was this 18th percentile that was quoted and all these different things, but they were just like, look, it was bad, and it was a concern. And you asked me, like, do I put any stock in that? I think teams, the way it was sort of described to me is, look, it's not so much, it's a piece of information, but it's not so much when someone scores extremely high, like, oh, they're an automatic, they're going to make it in the NFL. That's not how it works. It's when someone scores low, you then go, why did that happen? Like, why did they score low, and should we be concerned about that? And then you get into this, like, what were the conditions of the test? Where were they? Had they even really prepared for it? And if some of those answers are no, or there's extenuating circumstances, some teams ask to, let's see if we can get a retest done and then look at, the second score. That often would happen with the Wonderlic too. There were players that took Wonderlic, bombed it, and then it's like, let's give it to him again. Let's see if this changes. So, does it change the process? I think for some teams, because some teams really do care about that S2 score. They're big believers in it, particularly teams that have front offices or owners that buy into the baseball model or even have ties to baseball teams or executives. It matters. So, do I think that made Houston be out on CJ Stroud? No. Do I think it raised the flag? Yes. But I'm trying to think of how I can say this.
Just say it, Charles. Tell us what's going to happen.
I think Houston, like a lot of teams, ultimately, when something like that happens, they go back to the body of work and they're like, okay, wait a minute. Justin Fields scored really high on the S2. He ran the offense exceedingly well at Ohio State. C.J. Stroud might have run it better. Okay, it's different, not one-for-one styles, but he might have run it better, and he definitely threw it better at times in terms of like accuracy and all this different stuff. And so they're like, there's clearly a disparity here. I think teams looked at the body of work on C.J. Stroud, and I don't necessarily know that he trickles through the draft now because of an S2 score. I think teams, it raised the red flag. Everybody went back to the tape. Some teams wanted to retest, and then I think now when the dust settles, let's say Houston is poking around to try and get back up from the 12 spot. I believe the quarterback they're trying to get back up from the 12 spot for is C.J. Stroud. I'll put it that way.
Wow. Okay. There's another curveball.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, see,
interesting strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is. But see, here's the thing. I get what they're doing. Okay, like I get the thought process of why Houston. Like there's a few things that happened here, and you can always tell. Like if you're in the media and you've done this long enough, you can tell when information gets put out what's being masked. Okay, and I'll give you an example here. And I know I really shouldn't talk about the inside baseball stuff with us, but it's
you should.
Helpful for fans. When Adam Schefter tweets out, Hughes is looking to move down and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden at the very end of the tweet, and I'm paraphrasing here, but this is pretty much how he tweeted it out. Oh, and they might be looking to move up. And I was like, okay, I've crafted a tweet like that before. This is really a tweet saying that Houston's trying to move up. But you don't want to, sometimes you can't just come out and straight up say, like, hey, they're clearly trying to move up, and this is what's going on. So what you do is you're like, oh, they're interested in moving down, but maybe also up. And you're doing that because you don't want to get fragged with a source who's basically like look, we're fishing to move up, or other sources there like, hey, Houston's making calls, they clearly want to come up in the draft. So you throw out this idea that hey, they're potentially trying to move, and then you just kind of tack on this idea of move up, which is really the tweet. They're trying to move up, okay? And when I say the reason why Houston's doing something like this, because they're sitting there saying, like, if we don't draft Will Anderson, let's say it's Will Anderson at 2, we think there's a chance that if Arizona gets stuck at 3, that's who they'll take. Will won't fall. Like, that's the thought process you're going through. Now, if we don't draft C.J. Anderson at 2 and Arizona gets stuck at 3, they're not taking C.J. Anderson. And then if he gets to 4, and this is where this all comes in, if he gets to 4 to Indianapolis, what if Indianapolis actually likes Will Levis or Anthony Richardson more? All of a sudden, now CJ gets to 5, and we don't think Seattle's taking him. So then he gets to 6. We don't think Detroit's taking him. So do we now call Detroit? And now we try to move up to 6, which the freight is a lot less than it would be to move up to 3. And it's a lot easier for, say, Detroit to go, yeah, you know what? We'd like enough players that we'll fall back to 6. We'll stack a bunch of draft picks, and we're more willing to move back. Even Arizona fire sailing the 3rd pick, I think it's cheaper to move up to 6 than it is 3. So that's what you're trying to do, is you're going like, do we got to make the big jump and get our guy at 3? Or if we take the defensive player thinking there's a chance the quarterback falls, now we only have to get up to 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or 8. Like, maybe the Raiders don't really like Stroud either. Maybe they like Peter, or maybe they like Skoronski, right? But they say he's a guard. Well, they don't want to take him at 7, but they'll take him at 12. That makes a lot more sense, especially when they can pick up picks. So, I'm sorry about the diatribe, but this is the craziness that's going on right now.
No, that was really good. Charles, as you look at the draft, as Charles Robinson views this draft, how intrigued are you by the Titans at number 11 and what they could do, specifically at what they may do with the quarterback position and how involved they could be?
Yeah. Well, that's the wild card in this. I actually think the other team that if Houston really is trying to move up to get a quarterback, and again, if they're quote-unquote trying to be cute about it, the team that I would worry about, I think it's the Titans. Because the Titans, there have been things done by the Titans that are actually hard data points. You don't talk to other teams about potentially offloading Ryan Tannehill if certain conditions transpire. You don't talk about unloading Ryan Tannehill unless you're seriously thinking about making a move for a quarterback. Okay, so that happened. We talked about that on this show. That happened. We're talking about weeks ago, right? And my guess is it was even you probably go back to the NFL meetings in Arizona when I think that really started to get a little bit of traction. Then you have, people who are close to people in the organization and the media who start to talk about, hey, wait a minute, sounds like the Titans are thinking about moving up, like potentially going and getting a quarterback. That's another piece of information that then gets out there that lets people know, other NFL teams know, hey, the Titans might be interested in moving up. So A, if you need a veteran quarterback, that's a team to call. And then B, if you want to move back in the draft, that's a team to call. So I think Houston sits there and goes, they're interested. Now we have to be worried about, we call Arizona and we say, we know you guys want to tackle. 3 is rich for any tackle in this draft. 11 is not. 12 is not, right? So if you're going to take Paris Johnson, maybe you get him at 11. Maybe you get him at 12. Well, Arizona's going to sit there and look at it and go, we're more likely to get Paris at 11 than we are 12. That creates a problem potentially, I think, for Houston. I do think Tennessee absolutely is interested in a quarterback, but I also think there's the risk-reward element of it and how much you'd have to, spend to get in position to take a quarterback. So that I really think one of those teams that Houston's worried about is Tennessee, because they know if we have to go to 3 or a few of these other teams that are interested in moving back, most of them are kind of in the market for tackles, and those tackles that run could start at 9. And so that makes people a little nervous about how much further than 9 do you want to move back and still get one of the tackles you like.
We'll have more with Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What's up, everybody? Michelle Knezovic here for Superbook Sports. Baseball's back, and the push for the postseason is on for hockey and hoops. Hope you took Memphis minus the 4 last night. They beat the Lakers. Tonight, I'm looking at the Boston Celtics and the Atlanta Hawks. Boston is looking to close out this series. They're a 6.5-point favorite. I think I'll take Boston minus the 6.5 to cover that spread. Also, the Sacramento Kings and the Warriors. This has been one of my favorite series. Tomorrow, Golden State has an opportunity to close it out. A 7-point favorite. I'm going to take the Kings plus the 7. I do think Golden State ends up closing this series out, though. Superbook Sports is the best wagering app around, with a direct line to experienced bookmakers behind the counter in Las Vegas. Plus, you get a $250 bonus when you sign up, deposit, and wager all in the same day. So sign up, grab your phone, grab your laptop, sign up right now, deposit, and I gave you a couple options to wager on today, and you'll get a $250 bonus. So don't let this spring pass you by without winning money with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Did you know trading in your car at a dealer could cost you money? A recent study found consumers who trade in their car pay an average of $990 more. So don't trade in. Sell it to We Buy Any Car. Learn more and get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
Happy Nashville Sounds Throwback Thursday. Catch the action at First Horizon Park tonight at 6:35 as the Nashville Sounds take on the Kansas City Royals affiliate. Enjoy $2 and $4 drink specials all night while the Sounds wear their classic 1978 throwback uniforms. For tickets, visit NashvilleSounds.com.
You want a mower that delivers a quality cut and an exceptional ride. You need the Kubota Z200 series with the new K-Ride Comfort System, designed to give you everything you need to glide your way to a perfectly manicured lawn. Visit your local Kubota dealer today.
Visit Coleman Tractor Company, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and White House.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks is on the clock. Catch all of the NFL draft action at the Ultimate Sports Lodge. Round 1 kicks off at 7 o'clock. Green Trees Company Dispensary and 102.5 The Game want to send you to see the legendary Steve Miller Band live April 30th at First Bank Amphitheater. Keep listening to Nashville's best sports talk all week long for your cue to call to win tickets to see Steve Miller Band, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. More with Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports, brought to you by the NFL Alumni Association. Joe Rexrode, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'm glad, Charles, that you brought up excuse me, like the inside baseball misinformation thing, because I was going to forget this, but a listener called us this week asking about our encounters with misinformation and ever reported something that was totally BS because a source gave you bad information and had the protection of being anonymous. So from your perspective, a couple questions of that. One, that question for you, like, have you ever been really burned? But also, two, and I know you're very careful about making sure everything's tied together tightly on things like that. But number two, of all the stuff that's flying around right now, like if you just had to give a general 65% of it's real, 35 BS or whatever, how would you answer that?
First off, about the burn, yeah, that has happened. And I mean, like, I actually remember the first time it happened. I had a GM who I really trusted straight up told me, I can't remember who the other corner was, but he told me Revis isn't going to be the first corner off. He was like, he flip-flopped another corner in front of Revis and Darrelle Revis. And, you spun this whole thing about, there's, this guy, it's hot. And, and then Revis, there's these issues and all this different stuff. And then it was wrong. I reported, at some point. Now, it wasn't like, I was just like, hey, this corner's getting, here are these conditions that have set up this corner to be the guy selected in front of Revis, and I basically just repeated a lot of this information. And Revis, of course, was drafted before this guy. The other guy went quite a bit further down the pipeline. And I caught a quote from the same GM later about Revis in the draft process where it was the exact opposite of what he had told me. And I was pissed. I mean, I was really pissed. And I brought it to his attention, and I said, this is garbage. You straight up used me. And, he hemmed and hawed about, oh, no, this is at the time. And I'm like, you told me this like 3 days before the draft. We mean at the time. I'm like, it was ridiculous. And, and so it was the first time where I was like, wow, guys will clear. And it was clear he had interest in getting Revis. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for him. But, I mean, it was. You'll have moments where someone clearly drops nuggets of information to you, and early on, if you're not kind of used to how they use language and sort of decoding what might be BS, you can fall into that trap pretty easily. I'll give you an example. This one, I had a team when the Stroud S2 stuff initially happened. I called a bunch of different teams trying to see if I could get the scores and everything, and one guy said to me, I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor that X happened. And I was like, okay, well, first off, that's not how people talk. I'm like, if you know something, that's not a piece of information, how you really relay it. Now, he was very careful about, what he said. He kept driving home the point that it was something he had heard, which I'm like, he's giving himself wiggle room right now, but he's probably testing to see if I'll repeat it or if I'll start calling around with this piece of information. I didn't. And then literally, I'm talking like 48 hours later, same exact person, we're running through the quarterbacks, and he starts to sort of say some good stuff about C.J. Stroud. And I'm like, it's kind of the opposite of the rumor that you just said to me like 2 days earlier. So this is sort of the games that some guys will play. They, you know, if they respect you enough, they might not blatantly lie to you, but they'll finesse pieces of information to see if they can, you know, create either an environment where you share it on Twitter or repeat it, or you'll start making calls that will then lead other teams to go, wait a minute, oh, we hadn't heard that, you know, and then they start asking additional questions, or it's just they muddy up the process. So in terms of the percentages, I think in terms of like what's reported, it's hard to believe anything that's reported 100% because you might not know someone's sources. You might not know what their vetting process is in terms of what you personally hear. You know, after a while, you know who kind of doesn't jerk you around, and you know who the people that do. And I tend to be really just direct with questions. So, you know, usually I'll just have guys go, hey, you know, I can't tell you that. Or, you know, they'll share information in a way that is very real. Like I had a team, I said, hey, you're getting attached to these two players a lot. No, you can't tell me whether or not these are guys high on your board or whatever. I said, but I'm a little surprised because of these two different things about these two different players. And the GM said to me, look at our track record. Do I personally have, and do we personally have as an organization, a track record of drafting this kind of player X who did this or is said to have done that, or Y, this player Y, who look at the value versus the board? And I said, no, you don't. And he goes, well, I would tend to believe track record really is something you should lean on heavily here, which was him trying to say, no, I'm not taking those guys, but I'm not going to tell you that because I don't want you out there reporting that straight up. So again, this is why I just want this over. Okay? Like, you get it? Like, I don't know how many times I've been sitting. I honestly got truth. I don't know. There had to be at least 5 or 6 times over the last 2 weeks where I'm up in my office at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And, you know, like Dawn's coming up and she's going to bed and she opens the door and she sees me on the phone and she hears me say some piece of draft jargon and just rolls her eyes and closes the door. She's like, yep, not even gonna, you know. And then the next morning, she's like, so what's so-and-so doing with his draft?
So who's got a real nose for the ball, Charles?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right.
That is awesome. Charles, last thing here for you. The Aaron Rodgers deal finally official between the Packers and the Jets. What did you make of the compensation for the Packers, particularly the conditional second that becomes a first if he plays in 65% of the plays?
Yeah, that was a low threshold. I will say that. It was a lower threshold than I thought would be the qualifier for the first. You know, I thought it would definitely be attached to, you know, something related to wins and losses, or some kind of like playoff trigger. But I think, you know, look, clearly knowing what the conditions were prior to that, the Jets moved off of, you know, they softened their stance on a couple of different things. Number one, that qualifier. They know he's going to play 65% of the snaps. It's going to become a first. You know, when you talk to the Jets, you know, post this trade, their idea, and they've said this publicly, is if he's playing 65% of the snaps, we feel pretty good about, you know, what our record will probably be at that point. 65% of Aaron Rodgers last year would have had an immense impact on their team in the wins and loss column. So I think that, and then I think the flip-flopping of 13 and 15 was another little piece that the Jets kicked in. I will say about that, though, knowing that the sort of grades that are on these draft boards, the difference between 13 and 15 in this particular draft, it's negligible. Like, it's everybody's grades. It's skinny at the top in terms of like elite players. It's only a couple of guys. And then there's a big swath, at least from most teams I've talked to, there's a big swath of players that are graded pretty similarly, you know, might be 20 or 30 guys. So going from 13 to 15 wasn't a big deal. It showed, though, I think the Jets, wanted to make sure they got this done before the draft, because even though they could have leveraged it and said, we'll wait forever, we'll wait until, training camp, just to make sure we win this trade in totality. I think to them it was more value to have him in hand, be able to draft knowing you had him in hand, and then knowing that he's going to be there for the off-season program, which is what Rodgers indicated. Like, I'm going to work. Let's go. And so for the Jets, that's immense, because they're like, great. He gets to work, in the room with all these guys, chemistry-wise. We're going to have him for OTAs. We're going to have him for full squads. He's in the passing program. And it's just, their thought is, this is going to go well. We're going to be optimistic about it. Let's not worry about how a watch works, when really what we need to do is just tell the time. That's it. That's as simple as it was.
Charles Robinson, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. Charles, thanks for being with us. Have fun with the draft finally getting underway tonight, and we'll talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Absolutely. Charles Robinson, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on the NFL draft, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025, including a very interesting piece of news that Charles brought up there that if it happens this way tonight, I think is very fascinating. We'll get into that coming up next. This week's Nashville's Best Deal is Buy to Bit in the heart of East Nashville. You can get half off a $30 gift card while supplies last at thegamenashville.com/deals. Buy to Bit features all the best Thai food, sushi, and cocktails that you will love. You can check them out at buytobitthaiSushi.com. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hi, I'm UC Saros. And this is Smashville.
Now here's a try off to the side. What a stop made by UC Saros there. Unreal.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
When you hear it, you know the Steve Miller Band.
I'm a smoker.
This Sunday, First Bank Amphitheater, Franklin, Tennessee. With special guest, Mavis Staples. On sale now at livenation.com. For more info and tour dates, visit stevemillerband.com, part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series.
Get a great deal on one of the most versatile tractors in the industry, the Kubota BX, which is part of Kubota's tractor lineup rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Stop by Krebs Kubota today and bring home select BX series equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 72 months, plus save up to $800. Now through June 30th, see Krebs Kubota or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details. Krebs Kubota, Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment dealer. Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Online at KrebsKubota.com.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $8,000 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
B&B Flooring has a goal to bring your dream floor to you. Over 30 years running and locally owned and operated, B&B Flooring's full-service, commercial, and residential team will handle anything from tile, luxury vinyl, carpet, hardwood, rubber, and all commercial products.
Visit their showroom at 2204 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro or check them out at bnbflooringtn.com to make your flooring selection today. Call 615-216-0551 and schedule a free quote at your home or office.
We got you covered.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing and me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, your Nashville Sounds continue their homestand at First Horizon Park against Omaha.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win.
Pre-game at 6:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Poyle. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports for joining us in the last segment. I got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away to the Franklin Rodeo coming up on May 18th. Be caller number 3, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caller number 3 will win a family 4-pack to the Franklin Rodeo coming up on May 18th, 615-737-1025. So Charles, always interesting on the program, and it was nice to get a good behind-the-scenes look of how things work this time of year from him. I thought that was really fun and entertaining. The Houston part of this is very fascinating, especially kind of the route that he laid out there. And, again, we'll see what Houston ends up deciding to do at number 2. But what do you make of the thought process of, okay, well, maybe if you're Houston, you have an elite defensive player on the board that you think is elite, and Will Anderson at number 2. You take him, and then you try to maybe move number 12 back up and maybe go land C.J. Stroud at quarterback. What do you make of that approach if that's the way that Houston decides to go?
Yeah, that's something else. It's really interesting. And like he was kind of laying out there, is there a run on tackles? Does one pick mean that much to help you? Obviously, you don't know what the rest of the deal is, but like if it's Titans and Texans vying to move up, the Titans offering 11, Texans offering 12, what does that mean? If that's the case, you're the Arizona Cardinals. You love that.
Sure.
Yep, keep going. Give me another one. How about a 3rd and 25? Keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, really interesting to think Houston would. But it's just like, so you're going to take a defender with a second, and then you're going to cost yourself a bunch of draft capital, move back up to get a quarterback, and you're gambling that you can get him, whereas you could just go ahead and take him.
That's the thing. Like if you really like C.J. Stroud, why would you risk it like that? If you're the Texans, like I get the idea of trying to land 2 really good players, right? So maybe your thought process is, well, if you pull this off, you get an edge rusher that helps you for 10 years, and you get a quarterback that could help you for 10 to 15 years, and this could end up being a franchise-altering draft. So I get it.
Yeah.
But the quarterback is really the most important thing. Like if you're going to draft a quarterback, whether it's at 2, whether it's at 12, or you're moving up to like number 7 overall or 6, like you got to get it right. So like if you feel good enough about moving back up to go get him, I don't know why you just wouldn't do it at number 2. That's a heck of a risk to take.
It really is. And, we talked about Diana Rossini earlier, of course, and she's at Titans headquarters, and what she reported on the Titans, being interested potentially in a quarterback. But another thing worth mentioning here is Aaron Wilson, who worked for the Houston Chronicle for a long time. Now he's with NBC TV in Houston. But he, I'm trying to find this tweet, also today, had a tweet that, has that been deleted? Okay, maybe. If it's been deleted, then never mind, I guess. But he had a tweet that said the Titans, and naming Stroud, were looking to go up to 3. And Stroud as the target. So, again, Could be information.
I see it. Yeah, it says
Could be misinformation.
The Tennessee Titans have explored trade-up scenarios for the Arizona Cardinals' number 3 overall pick with the target Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud, per league sources. That's what Aaron Wilson had to say.
There it is.
So there's that part of it, too.
Yep.
The other intriguing part that Charles threw out there was that Arizona was having a tough time moving off number 3. And we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Like, I wonder why that is. Is that people just waiting to see what Houston does at number 2? Is that an asking price from Arizona that is just incredibly high at the moment and teams don't want to do it? Maybe it's a combination of the two. But, you know, the having a difficult time moving out of number 3 that Charles put out there, wonder why that's the case for Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be the uncertainty, right? It's got to be there are people that are like, wait a minute, what if they – I'm not trading you for 3 now and then watch Houston take my guy.
Right.
Not going to give you anything right now. I want to see what these guys do. You know, if they take Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson, let's go. I'm in on Stroud or, you know, I think it would be Stroud. But maybe not. Maybe Stroud drops to 24. Who the heck knows? Tell me anything right now, I'll believe it.
UDFA.
There you go.
It's interesting. I know this. As soon as that first pick's out of the way tonight, you know, with I guess the possibility of the Reddit guy being right, notwithstanding of Will Levis going number 1 overall. As soon as Bryce Young is out of the way tonight,
Reddit
and he
Randy
goes number 1 to the Panthers, when that clock ticks on the Houston Texans, that's when this thing's really getting going tonight. It's going to be really interesting. Those next two picks specifically with Houston, and then can Arizona find a way to trade back after whatever Houston does? That's going to be really interesting to see tonight.
Yeah, that's high drama. High drama. Tyler on Twitter says, Joe, one thing I've not seen addressed, I'd like your take on it. Do the Titans, Carthon, Vrabel, etc., ran VMC?
Yep.
Or ran MVC?
Ran MVC is what you decided.
Ran MVC, thank you. Feel they're truly a QB away from competing for Super Bowl? No, they don't. I mean, this is not a ready-made Super Bowl team. Plug in a quarterback, you're going to Super Bowl. First of all, if you're drafting a quarterback, then you're drafting a rookie, so you have to be realistic about that. But this could be the opportunity to get the quarterback that then they continue to build around to get, ideally, into that situation before long.
Well, I would say, yeah, if they draft a quarterback, it does mean they think they're a quarterback away from competing for a Super Bowl. It just doesn't mean next year. Like, it means eventually, yeah, that guy needs to be the guy that leads us to a Super Bowl, right?
Like, I'd look at the question like it's the last piece, you know, but yeah.
I'm just being smart.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, stop that.
We discovered
Stop talking about the Titans.
Apparently, I say all of a sudden instead of all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
And it's you say all of the sudden.
I guess so.
All of a sudden. Hey, listen. As long as you don't say
couldn't care less.
Could care less.
Oh, that one's good.
As long as you don't say I could care less. Really? Then you care a lot. Great. You couldn't care less.
I knew that was going to be yours.
That's an old rant, but a goodie.
Diane Rossini coming out with this now on Twitter says, new Titans general manager Rand Carthon has been leading the staff behind the scenes for tonight's pick at 11. Speaking to people around the facility, Carthon and Mike Vrabel have been in lockstep throughout this process. Quote, it's a collaborative effort, end quote. The Titans board was set yesterday. This is from Diana Rossini. That collaboration word continued to get thrown around out there.
Well, I mean, Rand basically told us the board was set like Friday.
Yeah.
He went and tried to get his head cleared for the weekend, you know?
They have their arms locked, and they are walking left, right throughout
we have
the
our board.
thing.
Let's pick together, Mike. Yay! Wonder Twins activate. How quick?
Rerun, go.
Rand, MVC. VMC.
Wonder Twins.
God dang it. LD from McMinnville says, how quickly does Rossini fly to Nashville and the Titans select a non-QB? No, it'll be like, folks, I'm hearing that Peter Skoronsky likes to put cheese, queso in his coffee. Let's make this pick interesting.
Oh, boy. I got a text that says the Vrabathon era starts tonight. Lots of nicknames being thrown around for this combination that we got going on.
At some point, we have to
got to settle on one, man.
I'm going Rand.
MVC. You're having a tough time putting those together.
Big MVC fan.
Because you could go, Rand MVC. That's the right way. Rand MVC, yes. But Vrabathon's cool.
Ray Rand?
Ray Rand is cool, too. Bottom line, collaboration.
That's correct. We'll have more on the NFL Draft and the Titans coming up next. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Want to jump into the mind of a 15-year NFL vet? Well, here's your chance. It's Ask D-Mace.
Come on, bring them on.
Ask questions on football and life to Derek Mason every Friday at 12:30 on Ask D-Mace.
Don't mess with her. The skilled guy. Money reigns supreme.
On Caroline, Willie, and
D-Mace.
On 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in 3 easy steps. 1. Get a free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with a check in about an hour. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at We Buy Any Car.
33 hours of savings this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Electronic Express. These deals are so hot they only last 33 hours. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349 or a JBL Bluetooth speaker for just $59. Save up to 50% on 4K TVs, computers, housewares, appliances, and more. Don't miss out on a GoWise air fryer for just $79 or an Amana laundry pair for just $449 each. Now through Saturday. Shop online or at all Electronic Express locations.
The Beach Boys. Live in concert. May 25th, 26th, and 27th at Schermerhorn Symphony Center. Performing with the Nashville Symphony. The Beach Boys return to the stage. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSymphony.org. Don't miss the Beach Boys live with the Nashville Symphony.
Hey, it's Jared. Are you looking to move? If so, do yourself a favor and reach out to my friends at TriStar Moving. You can be assured your move will be stress-free because they've got new utility vans to help with pack jobs to separate your high-value or fragile items from the bulk of your furniture, and their movers are carefully picked and highly trained. No one in the game is doing this. TriStar Moving is raising the standard in the moving industry. When you're ready to move, give them a call. TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, or online at nationalmoving.org/radio, and tell them Jared Stillman referred you for 10% off. That's TriStar Moving.
Hi, I'm Jamie with Souls for Souls, a global nonprofit based in Nashville that provides shoes and clothing to people across the world. We're joining forces with 102.5 The Game for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament on June 7th at the Hermitage Golf Course. A portion of the proceeds from the tournament will provide new shoes to children experiencing homelessness right here in Nashville. I hope you'll join us for an afternoon of fellowship and fun, all in support of a great cause. Go to thegamenashville.com for more information and to register.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Sometimes he gets lonely and needs some company.
10 for 17 for 45 yards in his career with 1 interception.
This is one of those years where it's a step back for them.
And that'll create more one-on-one situations and make it easier for him to throw the ball down the field.
It's Stillman and Company.
You've got real talent.
With Jared Stillman. Weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. Call TJ's team today to see why they're referred to so often. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. So it is officially that time. It is time to make our predictions. Joe Rexrode, the draft is tonight. The Titans at the moment hold the number 11 overall pick. When everything is said and done tonight and the first round is over, who will be the newest member of the Tennessee Titans? Who would like to go first?
Joe, you're first.
Yeah, no. I'd rather you say who the Titans are going to pick.
Thank you.
Well, although I told you guys earlier this morning, even though I'm running on 2 hours of sleep.
I thought you were about to say 2 hours of sleep.
I did grab a specific sweatshirt, if you can all see.
Okay.
That is a certain color of blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I will stick with my thought from whenever I gave Jim Wyatt my media member pick. I think the Tennessee Titans are staying at 11, and they will go with Kentucky quarterback Will Levis.
You think your guy's dropping to 11?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
I don't think C.J. Stroud's dropping. I think Anthony Richardson probably goes to the Colts at 4, and then Seattle I don't think goes with them. Lions don't go. I don't think the Raiders will draft one this year. 8, Falcons no, 9, and then 10, 11.
Okay.
All
You
right.
laid it out. Hey.
So 1 for Will Levis.
I mean, Dane Brugler's last mock has quarterbacks falling too. So, Robbie, go ahead.
I will say Paris Johnson Jr. is the pick at number 11.
Wah, wah.
That's how I think it's going to shake out.
Boring.
I'm hoping against hope that is not the way it plays out. That is, I do not want an offensive lineman tonight for the Tennessee Titans. So
I do not want one.
I do not want one of those. Sam, I am. But I will go Paris Johnson Jr. Joe Rexrode, who is the pick for the Titans?
Well, I'll stick. Jimmy White, like Michelle says, he likes to do the media polling beforehand. So I'll stick with what I will say. Stroud is on my brain now.
Yep.
I still have a hard time.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Believing you're going to mortgage so much to go get him when you didn't even have him at your visit, because I feel like even as much information as Vrabel has about Ohio State, his future employer, and as the fact that they sat down with him in Columbus, the fact that he didn't come here just puzzles me if they pick him. It's on the brain, though, that maybe it's Stroud. But you know what? I'll stick with what I had. I'm sticking with they do have to move up, but they only have to move up to 6. They trade with the Lions, and they take Will Levis.
So 2 for Will Levis.
2 for Levis and 1 for Johnson.
Yeah. Congratulations to C.J. Stroud and to Anthony Richardson, the newest member of the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Or Peter Skoronsky.
Or Peter Skoronsky.
Bijan Robinson. That's the one. That's what we need tomorrow.
Broderick Jones. Yeah, if it's Bijan Robinson, this is going to be quite the show tomorrow.
I mean, Daniel Jeremiah's got him taking Zay Flowers at 11. So hey, man.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a Twitter account that's told that apparently it's a legit account.
Yeah.
What is it? ML
Football.
Said get used to Nashville.
Says according to his source, it says get used to Nashville, Zay. If they go Zay Flowers at number 11. I mean, look, I like Zay Flowers. We've talked with TD about Zay Flowers. Wouldn't 11 be kind of a serious reach for Zay Flowers at that point, you think?
I mean, I
maybe they just
so.
love him. I don't know.
Probably not.
I think he could be good, but that's a stunner. Andrew Shulman, it's a good one. Carbell is also good.
That's pretty good.
We need more Carbell. The only prescription is more Carbell. Thank you, Andrew.
That may be
for people who don't get that, you need to watch that skit. I won't ask you, Michelle.
Andrew on the text line says
Don't
a
worry.
starting left tackle is boring. That sounds like a bunch of kids on Reddit more than sports journalists on the text line. That's from Andrew.
Wow.
I mean, yes, comparatively speaking, a starting left tackle is boring compared to a quarterback, yes.
Sorry, Andrew. Should I be stuffy? Oh, well, that would be quite an interesting pick, Andrew. No, it's boring. We want quarterbacks, Andrew.
If they draft Paris Johnson Jr. tonight, we'll spend the first hour tomorrow going through just film-by-film breakdown of his pass sets.
Yeah, exactly. Will from Nashville says, Quentin Johnson, is he going like the 4th round now? Like he was like the consensus top receiver in the draft before the process, and I don't think he's going anywhere near the first round.
He's not going. Well,
no,
he might sneak into the back part of the first round, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's not. I mean, he was at one point considered to be the number 1 receiver on the board, and he's not going to be close to that, I don't think.
Yeah.
All it takes is one team.
That is true. James says many people are saying speculation is an unnamed source is about to confirm that some offers have possibly been fielded by the Titans for Jeff Simmons and a bucket of hot chicken. Yes, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, Charles never gave us a number. Actually, did he? He never gave us a number.
No, he did not.
I'd love to know. I still think it's more than 50% that there's something real to it. Because again, The people doing this, they don't want to get screwed over. No. You know? Just like Charles didn't want to get screwed over by the guy saying, oh, yeah, I don't like Revis.
Yeah, Revis guy. He's not going first.
It was a nice early lesson. That would have been what? What draft would that have been? 08? Something like that?
Maybe before that.
Even before that, maybe. But that was, there's an early in the career of covering the NFL lesson for someone.
07.
Okay, so. But I still think there's some truth to a lot of the smoke. Right? That's the thing. It's just like a lot of things. It's like it's not black or white. This is a lie. This is the truth. There's in some cases it's a little bit of massaging here or there, but there's something to it. And yeah. I'm having a hard time just completely ignoring the Stroud stuff.
By the way, the 07 draft, the number 1 overall pick notwithstanding, which was Jamarcus Russell, pretty good draft. Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Darrell Revis, Adrian Peterson, Patrick Willis, Marshawn Lynch.
Wow,
a lot of good players taken in the 07 draft.
Yeah. Gosh, that's the same draft where Charles told me Jamarcus Russell was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Brady Quinn.
Wish I would have brought that up earlier.
God, the quarterbacks in that draft, Jamarcus Russell and Brady Quinn.
Where did Quinn, like in the 20s, right?
He went, he was 22.
And some people thought he was going top 5.
Yeah. Tennessee great, Robert Meacham, first-round pick in that draft.
Oh, yeah. Heck of a college player.
He was. Got a vote on the text line that says Jackson Smith and Jigba will be the pick for the Titans tonight. What's your reaction if they take him at 11? We've talked about him a lot. He's, by most accounts, the number 1 receiver in the draft. We just talked about Zay Flowers. What if it's Jackson Smith and Jigba at number 11?
See, the thing is, we're all like, Zay Flowers. Do I know for sure that Jackson Smith and Jigba is a better receiver than Zay Flowers, will be a better pro?
No.
Or that it's any different of a reach? No. I mean, I think it would be a reach. I think any of the receivers in this draft at 11 would be a reach. That's my opinion. One of them will turn out to be a Hall of Famer, and they'll be an incredible value. But I'd be calling that a reach.
I'm very interested to see what happens. To me, Joe, this is the draft that I've probably been the most excited about in my life. I'm looking forward to this one tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really fascinated. Number 1 team I'm looking at tonight beyond the Titans, Houston. What in the world are they doing at number 2? And what sort of domino effect does their decision at 2 have on the rest of the draft? Does Arizona trade out at number 3? I'm looking forward to it. We finally find the answers tonight at 7 o'clock.
I mean, if Nick Caserio gets like Will Anderson and then is able to go back up and get Stroud.
It's pretty good.
Evil genius, Nick Caserio. Who knew?
Playing chess, not checkers.
I guess,
pretty
right?
Good. Pretty
good.
Good.
No doubt.
We'll have you covered all day long here on 102.5, 106.3, The Game for the NFL Draft. Chase and Michelle is coming up next. They'll have you covered as well. You're listening to 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Stuck at work without a radio?
Wait a minute.